Let's try this again. Tik Tok trolling episode number 1 ever. Flat Earth, Sun, Moon. I forgot what it is. Zodiac app. Y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all see it right there, man. Today's show will be about resources. Today's show, the pilot on the playback. This is strictly a kind of a baby truther advertisement, a frat smacking, if you will. Some questions may all get answered, you know what I'm saying? Once again, I'm waiting for people to get in the building, right? Gonna tell y'all right now, man. Let's see what we got going on. Y'all ain't ready. I'm gonna give y'all a little time. Give you a little bit more time, man. A little bit more time. Just no time for me to probably roll up. Hit this blunt real quick. What do you do, Judah? Bye, Judah. At least somebody came. At one point or another, man. What up, T-Rail? At one point or another, you gotta ask questions. You gotta ask questions. We need answers. It's just crazy, man. You could talk about any other conspiracy theory and people will ride with you. But for some reason, man, just right here, it's triggering. I understand. I'm just here to take you to the water. Because I know it sounds cliche, right? But people waking up, man. People are waking up. Don't be too late. Don't. Especially y'all who criticize with ad hominems, red herrings, and all kind of fallacies. No, this is your chance. This is your chance. There should be no excuses. Which is why this first episode is gonna be about the resources. Because I don't want y'all to believe anything I discuss over here. I want you to do your own research. But what's so special about my research is the content on YouTube. We all know the truth is shadow banned. Let's just be real. We know it. We know the truth is shadow banned, right? I'm finna pull up some of these playlists. Now, this is why this app. Keep in mind, I don't get any affiliate offer. This is something that I'm standing on strength because of what I believe in. This app, which costs $2.99. Listen to me. This is the most powerful app to date. Point blank, period. This app alone is one of the most powerful apps, especially when you're trying to seek truth. Because what this app does that a lot of people don't do, because you can't Google search. Maybe DuckDuckGo. You can't Google search, right? You can't go on YouTube and search for these videos. Even if you title them, even if you search them by the exact title word for word. These videos you will not find on YouTube, but they are there. And then that begs the question of why. And that brings me and y'all to here. I'm just gonna go ahead and start it off. First of all, let's talk about our quote unquote model. Now, we all know about the globe earth model. We all know about that. This is a flat earth model. Not saying this is right or wrong, because we'll get to that later. But the consensus of flat earthers can pretty much agree about this being probably the most accurate depiction of our realm, universally. Whether they think whether they think it's a firmament, or whether they think that it's more land, we can all pretty much go by this particular model. What's up, Tim? Right? We can go by that. And see, when you type in flat earth or flat earth facts, you're gonna get, I'm telling you, you're gonna get a lot of BS. I'm just gonna keep it real. You're gonna get a lot of BS. That's just facts. So let me tell you what a real flat earthers think, because I know y'all probably search like what's up? Y'all probably search, flat earth debunk and get all these videos. Okay, cool. I'm telling you right now that I have the tools. So let me just get this out of the way first. Let me tell y'all what we don't think flat earth is, right? I'm gonna read this up for a minute and it'll explain itself. This is not what I or majority of the real true earthers / flat earthers, we don't think this. What up, Skyler? We don't think this. It's not something, we don't think this. Okay? We do not subscribe to this at all. We don't think that earth is flat and everything else is spirit. No. Not at all. This is what you will get, right? Let's talk about flat earth society. I'm gonna say this one more time. The flat earth society is controlled opposition, and we don't subscribe to that at all. It's BS. What's up, Don? It's BS. Right? I got the tools. Let's go back. Like I said, this is probably the most powerful app you'll ever get. I don't get no commission or nothing. I'm just pointing out to the truth. This is probably our most accurate depiction that quote unquote flat earthers believe in. What do we think is a firmament up above us? That's besides the point. Because when people type in flat earth on Google, on YouTube, even on DuckDuckGo, this is what they find. This is what they'll find. We don't think this. We do not subscribe to this at all. I repeat, we do not subscribe to this BS right here. Just letting y'all know. Boom. Now, I'm finna show y'all why it's powerful, right? Because if you search these videos, I'm about to show y'all. If you search these videos word for word, I'm talking about word for word, exactly how it is, they will not pop up on YouTube. And I'm about to show you why. Let's get into it. Right? This is what we finna do. Matter of fact, this is what we finna do right here. We get a little question mark. Once again, I get paid for this shot fitter. But okay. All these questions y'all be having. All these questions y'all okay? Shit. Let's see what's going on with that. All of your questions. All of the baby shooter questions. All the same basic questions that most of y'all ask about might be covered in this list of videos, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is 28 categories, 28 questions that most people have, that if you research it on your own, you won't find. You will not find it. I promise you won't. Let's do a video. So we're gonna start off with just a random category, right? Let's go to Let's see what we're gonna do, man. Let's go to photos of Earth and space. Let's do that. Boom. We're gonna hit the play button. It's gonna take you to YouTube. Listen, it's gonna take you to YouTube. Let's get it. What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh yeah, I'm right on time, man. Right on time. Right on time. I'm gonna try again, man. You know, last time I went live, my car got repoed, so hopefully I get through this motherfucking man. I got the car back, by the way. But McGloster, I'm gonna let you know right now what's the theme of this show gonna be. It's gonna be the first show. I'm pretty sure it's gonna go viral on YouTube, right? You told me to go live on my phone. I'm here. Appreciate it. Right? I'm finna point out some resources, man. The box is closed. Let me open it up. Let me open it up. I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. Let's see. Start. Yeah. Hopefully we get a good little audience in here, man. I open up the box. Let's see. Oh yeah. I wonder why this box taking so long to load up, man. In the meanwhile, so yeah, this is gonna be about resources, evidence that you can't find on Google and YouTube. You already in the box? Are you already in there? Let's see. Okay. I clicked on it. You in the box? I just clicked on it to see what it do. I don't know why I just want to let you know you're a moderator. I don't like it. Why I just want to let you know what I'm saying. Okay, let's see. Boom. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. All right. What do you do? Can you hear me? I might can't even hear me. My volume's good. Shit. Yo. Hey, can you hear me? Okay, good. All right, so this is what we finna do. Now I can't hear you at all. That's what I'm saying. I can't hear you. Because my audio settings. Let's see. Everything hooked up, basically hooked up. Yeah, I don't understand why. Let me go on my settings. Let's see what's going on. Let me go on my settings, bro. Cause I can't hear anything. Let me go to my settings and see if I got my. You know what? Let me take off the surround sound then. Let's see. Alright. Let me give me 1 second. Okay, now say something now. Still can't hear you.
Hello?
Okay, boom, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
What's up? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, hopefully this will go as smooth as it's supposed to go the first time, man. Let me see. Let me just put this in real quick. Like I said, this show gonna be about things that y'all probably never even seen before. First, we're gonna talk about this model. Before I get into this mega roaster, let me tell you something right now. Okay, this is not nobody that I know that believes in flat Earth believes this. I just want to get out of the way.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
No one believes in
because for
that.
some
That's a
people,
flat
because
earther.
some people, you know what I'm saying, it might get, flat Earth society is like control opposition. I do not affiliate with them at all whatsoever. Just want to get it out of the way. All right, look, this is the map that mostly universally flat earthers believe in, right?
Right.
Yeah, before you came in, you know what I'm saying, I was talking about how this app right here, first of all, I'm not making money off the app, first of all. I'm not making any money shot flat earth day. But the things we talk about and the evidence research I done, this app will take you to it. And the crazy thing about it is these videos on YouTube, but if you type this video in, if you type these specific videos in, even word for word, you feel me? You won't even find them because they're shadow banned. Just that's precursor for what I'm about to say, right? So let's talk about what you want to talk about, man. I got buttons.
Uh,
I got it all for you right here. Now you can start with. First of all, did you see that SpaceX launch?
what do you say that?
You see the last lunch they had? SpaceX just launched something. Yeah.
Back in November?
No. It just happened. I want to say yesterday or day for yesterday. I don't know if it's SpaceX. One of the space agencies that had a lunch like into quote unquote.
India went. India went last week. They're going to the South Pole.
Okay. So you seen the footage of that, right?
No, I haven't watched it.
I don't think you want to see it. But yeah, man. So what you been up to, bro? Like, what we gonna start at? Cause I'm finna flat smack all y'all globe workers today.
So I want to talk about your model.
All right, let's
Start
go
with
back
that.
to it. Let's go back then. Okay.
So you believe that there's a firmament, right?
Um, honestly, I don't know, but I do believe that we can't. It's some kind of what it is, ether, or if it's a firmament or the radiation belts, whatever you want to call it. I just know we can't get past that. I do believe in that. As to what it is, people have different opinions. I would go more with a dome, a firmament, but that's just me.
Right. So I'm sure you've seen the videos of comets or meteorites hitting on the Earth.
Yeah.
Right. So if there is a firmament up, like protecting the Earth, how did the comets get through the firmament?
Now, to be honest, when it comes to flat Earth research, like I never really thought about. I don't know why, but I never really thought about that. Now, my first reaction to that question would probably be, I know the Earth is electromagnetic. I feel it has something to do with that. I don't think they come from outer space. I'll tell you that much right now. And I also,
So
and you could prove that because if the Earth was a globe, let me ask you a question. How come every time we see meteorites or showers or whatever, right? How come no matter where you are in the world, we always see them going down? But if you're on a globe, you see them. Some people should
it's
see them
not
going
them.
sideways. Some people should see them going up. You know what I'm saying? But we always see
You do.
them going down. Why is that?
It's not them. It's like every other direction.
No,
Could be
I
any
have
direction.
never. I have never since I've been. I never seen any video from across the globe of a meteor or a comet anything going from either side to side only, or coming up from the bottom up. I all see them going down, but on a globe, it doesn't make
Right.
any sense.
So I can't really open my camera because you're on your web app, but I'm sure if you search it up on YouTube, I know I watched the video on this, and even not watching a video, I've seen comets go left to right, up to down,
Okay.
down to I don't know, bottom left.
Yeah.
They go any direction.
Okay. So I didn't know that. That's what I'm saying. So I can actually, I can see that. I can see that.
What's up, Doctor Hasselblad? This is Doctor Hasselblad. He's a photographer. He
Right.
knows all about this stuff.
But yeah, but as far as Mario go about firmament, so okay, so basically what I do believe is you see the outside, right? Outside of the outside. We believe that's Antarctica, right? The ice water, right? And
What?
and according to this, because we figured that the sky is the perfect clock, which makes sense. Because instead of how military time 24 hours, I believe the sky is the perfect clock. Now with this model right here, which can be tested, wherever you see the sun at on this model right here, wherever the sun at, no matter what time of day, you could call anybody where the sun is at right above them, it'll always be noon. So right now, whatever it's going over right now, it'll be noon. That's how we know how accurate this representation is. Now I know you see that the moon and the sun are the same size in our model, right? And that's but we do believe that. We believe it's local.
Thank you
Yeah.
for the gift.
Say what?
There's Aminal is gifting me.
Oh, okay, okay. Appreciate it,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Appreciate that. Um,
I got a question about your model. So,
yeah.
you see the sun, and
Right.
then we got the moon over there. The moon appears to be in the dark side, yet it's receiving light. I mean, like you can see it reflect off.
But
And
no,
also,
go ahead.
um, the sun. Why is the sunlight not reaching the dark side?
Because you can't, you can't. Sun doesn't light forever. Like, see, look. For example, see in our model. Let me ask you the moon question first. In our model, we don't think that the sun is reflecting the moon and making light. We believe the moon has its own light, which is provable. We don't think we believe what you see on the moon has absolutely nothing to do with the sun. It produces its own light. That's what flat earthers believe. Now, as far as it not over, like it's not the light of the whole thing, because we don't believe that. First of all, we don't believe that the sun is as big as y'all say it is. We don't believe that it's in outer space, not 3 million miles away. We just believe it's a bit more local. It's about 3,000 or so miles wide. We would probably say it's our best guesstimate. It's probably like up in the sky, or whatnot. So that's why I wouldn't light up the whole. And I could actually fast forward to you like, while we talking about. I could jump it, like for instance. Let's say I want to jump it, or I put it fast motion. That's how we'll see that, right? This is
Yeah.
just going like months or days or whatnot.
Yeah. All right. So I'll answer the moon one first.
Okay.
Um, you said that it's provable to see that the moon actually produces its own light.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
So I got two things to say about that. If it produces its own light, we should never see any moon phases at all. It should always be a full moon, always,
Ah.
and we should be able to see it from anywhere on Earth, anywhere,
Once
if it's
again,
flat.
but you're going off. But see, you're going off what you think your globe Earth mathematician is. Like I said about the sun, we don't believe that. Put it like this. First of all, we don't believe. We already know the moon has its own sunlight. Yes, we're also saying that the phase of the moon is caused by a dark body. That's our thing. So you see a phase, we feel like it's a dark body that caused the moon phases because we could provably tell that it has nothing to do with the sun. The light that this Earth, the light that the moon produces, the shade light of the moon is colder than actual temperature, which means that it's not coming from the sun because it's actually
Okay,
colder.
so well, I'll answer the first. I'm gonna say the second thing I was gonna say.
Right.
So you know that we only see one side of the moon, correct?
Yeah.
When you look at the moon, it's always one side. So on a flat Earth model, we should be able to see what's behind the moon. If it produces its own light,
See,
we should
once
be
again,
seeing.
but you're operating on a. So you operate on the fact that you think the moon is physical. We don't think it's physical. That's what I'm saying. We don't think it's a
Right, but
ball.
you think it reflects. If it does reflect, we should also be seeing whatever it reflects. Which, by the way, the moon is not a mirror, and it cannot be phasma
It's
because,
been already. It's the most accurate map of our realm. It's literally cannot be debunked. Like what you see on the moon right now,
it can.
you can
It
actually
can.
literally map out every single country, see everything along with times along with all of
Right.
that.
Can you show me that picture that you mapped it out? Because I also have a few things I want to say about that.
What's up? Where it's mapped out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No problem. Let's get it. All right. And, yeah, real quick while I search it. But yeah, like I said, like I'm looking it up right now for YouTube. But about the moon, like, we don't even think that it's physical. Like first of all, I know you've seen the video or whatnot. Because
Alright.
we
So,
have put it up to
solar
Crow
eclipse
Triple
is
Seven.
possible.
Because we actually have Crow 777. He's a guy who's probably never heard of him because he's shadow banned. He actually filmed the lunar like the
Thank you for the
literally
gift,
lunar
Fiddler.
waves. Hold on. I'm putting it up for you. I just put my phone thing. Also, I won't see what's all up, but
Right.
let's see. All right.
Appreciate it, Fiddle.
But yeah, yeah. So we don't think it's physical at all. We think it's a reflection of anything.
Right. So we've discussed this last time. How during a solar eclipse, you think that there's a black sun blocking it.
A dark body, yes.
So right. So why does it only block out sunlight and the moon? Why doesn't it block out any stars? Because when we're looking up at the night sky, we should be seeing a night or like a black sun, as you call it, blocking out parts of sky that we should be seeing. You know what I mean? We should see a black circle up in the sky, but we don't see that.
Once again, because
So does it only work sometimes?
no. So see, when it comes to the dark body, just the essence of itself, dark body in of itself, right? Pretty much answers its own question. Like, of course, we don't see it all the time because we all see the eclipse every 18 years. So of course, we don't see it all the time. Just like everything it's like everything in the cosmos is a perfect. Everything we could predict it. It's a perfect prediction. Now here we go. Now let me just show y'all. I'm gonna share my screen back again. I just put the video up. Let's show you.
I would show you some pictures, but
Yeah,
kind
I'm on the yeah, because my
camera.
phone, man. Like yeah, I see it, right? I'm gonna try to play a little bit.
It's
Like,
really loud.
yeah, hold on, it's kind of loud. It's kind of jarring to be exact. Hold on, give me 1 second. That is way too loud.
Just
Hold
go to the start.
on. Okay, so what? It's because I had what's called? Hold on.
I can't hear it. The video so far. Alright, just okay. Please pause it. Please pause. Alright, bro. That is deafening. That was really loud. But can you just scroll to the part where
Oh yeah. You're right. Let me just turn the.
yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to
Yeah,
turn
I
the.
couldn't hear you because that video was really loud.
Hold on 1 second. Let me turn the video down. Actually. All right, hello. You hear me now? Okay,
It's
yeah.
good now, but just scroll to the part where you think it's a
Okay.
reflection of the Earth. I think it was there at the front,
Oh, so okay, let's see. This is about
like
right.
like the actual start, like 10 seconds in.
Oh, it's on 10 seconds in. Okay, I see.
Yeah, there.
Let's see. This part.
There we go. So, you say that they look like the continents
Yeah.
of our Earth,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, it really doesn't. Look how disformed it is. Do you see how, like, nothing looks like anything we have on Earth?
But that's because you just seeing the product. Like you might show you on the other video how it actually did it. Maybe I should show that video. I can do that without sound. I can show you without sound. It's the last
Like, I
video
would.
actually.
Sure.
So basically, the video I showed y'all last, right? About my channel, about the Earth, about the flat Earth moon map. I try to put it in a way that could be really simple to say it. So basically, of course, this is not the whole depiction because of the mirror. So our rim is actually it's kind of like upside down, right? But if you flip it, right? You flip it, and you isolate the ice wall on there. I'm gonna put up the picture for you. That way you'll see what I'm talking about. It ain't gonna be loud though. But
Yeah.
you
Right. It
see how
doesn't look anything like our continents. Those are just craters that have been colored in green and
no,
blue.
it's colored in green to give context to what we're trying to say it is. Hold on, I'm trying to explain it a little bit better. Hold on, I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna screenshot
And
you.
also, the moon cannot reflect. I know that you say it's plasma, but if it was plasma and it reflects, that means the sun should also reflect, which it doesn't. The
Let me
sun is plasma, and then the moon is just rock.
hold on,
And you
sorry,
can
this
see
is
that just by like zooming into it with a telescope that you can buy on, I don't know, Amazon. I have a telescope. I've
right.
looked at the moon. You can clearly see it's rock, and it's not plasma because if it was plasma, it would technically be a second sun. And if it was a second sun, it means it would be daytime, regardless of your sunlight not going through
See,
the night barrier.
but see, this is what I'm saying. In your model, the sun is like literally like almost thousands of, if not hundred thousands of miles wide diameter. Our model doesn't subscribe to that, and it's
It
local.
doesn't really matter just
It does
about the
matter.
size of the light source. It
It
really
actually
doesn't.
does matter because they just they just changed the distance of the sun again, right? Because they keep doing it for some reason. So that's 91
Okay,
million miles
so
away, right?
for example, if you put a lamp up in your room, like one of those lamps that are like circular and like, kind of lights up the entire thing,
Right.
light will reach everywhere in that room. The whole room will be lit up,
No, it
right?
wouldn't.
So it doesn't matter about the
No,
size
it would.
of
It wouldn't
the.
be lit up. That's disingenuous. It wouldn't be no. You
It would
see,
though. You would see everything because
so you
to
telling
see
me?
something, it has to
So if you
reflect
let's
light.
say you have a light that's in the sky, that's do you realize how big the Earth is? Now what you're saying really not making you trying to make sense of it,
Yeah,
but you're not
but
making
that
any
doesn't
sense at the
matter.
same time
Okay,
because
think of it. Okay, think of it like this.
okay,
So you believe in stars, right?
yeah, of course.
You should, right? And stars are higher than the sun and the moon in your model, and they still reach our eyes in both daytime and nighttime. So that just proves that
No,
no, if
but
nothing
we can't.
wait one second.
Go ahead.
If nothing obstructs the light that's coming to our eyes, we should be able to see it, right? We can see as far as the Andromeda galaxy, and we can see as far as Polaris, as any other star,
But
Sigma and Tantus. I
we're not
mean,
disputing that.
and the stars are also made of plasma, and so is the sun. But the sun is a lot bigger than
One
any
second.
other star that we
Let me address
have close to
AK.
us.
My bad. Look at AJ Jeremy, AK Jeremy. A light source cannot have crater shadows. That's because you're looking at it thinking you're seeing craters. Of course. I'm trying to tell you that the craters are actually land. I'm gonna show it to y'all what I'm saying, but that's what I'm saying. You keep saying that crater shadows. We're not saying it's a crater because first of all, it's not physical. The sun is. I mean, the moon is not physical. It's been physically. It's proven you can't land on the moon.
Again, no, but
This is
like,
the part that people can't get past.
okay, so how about this? Can you explain the mirrors that we place on the moon during Apollo, and you can bounce lasers off them? This experiment has been done
You can bounce
many
lasers
times,
off of them. I never seen
and
that. You
anyone
gotta
can
show
do
me
it.
that. You gotta show me that one. I never seen
Yeah,
that.
it's on YouTube. You can just search it up, or Google, or whatever you believe in
YouTube.
for your source.
Trying to find proof of flat Earth on YouTube and Google is useless because they don't tell you anything. So
They do
I
tell
would
you. I
never go
mean,
to the people who I think. Well, I know. You said the
again,
big
that's
star,
just where people put videos up. No one really controls what to remove, what to like
Robert
keep in.
Denny.
It's all about the terms and services.
Okay.
But
Okay, 1 second then. I'm gonna put something I can't actually control. So he says that he said everybody here is a glober. Convince us. See, let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something right now. See, do y'all even know what burden of proof means? You gotta go back over this again. When you're talking about a burden of proof can only be done by claims of something that actually happened. We are trying to say that there is no scientific test that has proved the Earth being a globe and proved movement. Even the top scientists say that. What we're
sorry,
saying is, if you say
no, they
the Earth
don't.
is a globe and you say this and that, you got to actually objectively prove that without using animation or CGI. The burden of proof is not on the flat earthers.
Okay,
Which is
so
why
I
I'm
want to
trying
say some stuff.
go ahead.
I'd like to know one name of one scientist that believes in a flat Earth or does not believe in gravity. Second, you talk about burden of proof, but then you claim that there's a black sun during our solar
No,
eclipses
I didn't say
and
no. I
moon
said that
phases,
that's a theory.
yet you have no
That's
proof
a
of it.
theory. Of course, it's called theory. What I'm trying to tell you is, yes, it's a theory. It can't be proved, but it should be so. It should
Right,
be,
it's a claim.
but it shouldn't be. But it
So
should be
I
easy
could
to prove.
say
No, I'm
that
saying
there's
this is what I'm
a
saying
invisible
though.
unicorn.
But it should be easy to prove that the Earth is a sphere if you could just go outside of Earth and actually have a 24/7 surveillance. Don't say they can't do it. A 24/7 surveillance of the moon and the stars. Okay, or I take that back from the moon. Put
There
a
is none.
camera on. This is what I'm saying. Think about this for a minute. They could do this. They could do this. So they can do this. If the moon is physical,
They
right?
could, and we did it.
Listen. Now,
We
I'm
haven't.
trying to pose something to you. If the moon is a
Alright.
physical object, right, and you land on the moon, there should be no way in 2023 right now, as many homeless people are, there should be a camera specifically on the moon. There should be 24/7, not cutting anything, a live feed of the Earth rotating in space along with the stars. Why hasn't that happened? But we got footage from Mars, which is further than the moon. Just answer the question.
It's kind of unnecessary because NASA, they're
How
not
is that
really trying to
unnecessary?
debunk.
Whoa.
One second.
How
They're
is
not. Wait, 1 second. Okay, so just think about this. NASA and every scientist, they know that it's a globe. It's set fact. But when there's people that doubt it, some people, a very small group
Don't say that. It's not a
of
very
people
small
that are
group.
doubting it.
It's
One
not a very
second.
small group.
It doesn't mean that they should just waste money just to debunk them.
But
You know what I mean?
you're sitting here
Like,
telling me, but I'm saying this is what I'm saying. First of all,
okay, if you want
waste
to
the
feed,
money.
you can go to
Think
the
about this.
24-hour.
Let me ask you a question though. This how I know that it's not about the money. Because let me tell you something right now. If they actually did that, and they had sponsors. You know how much money NASA would make from a 24-hour live feed, 24/7, watching the beautiful globe Earth spinning in real time with no. You know how much money that would be making? What are you talking about? Having
Okay,
money for?
can you?
That could be
Okay,
a
how
that
about
could be
this?
a
Can you
billion
search
dollar
up
project.
Himawari?
But
All
what I'm
right. Okay,
trying to
can you
tell
search
you
up
is,
Himawari?
what I'm trying to tell you
What do you want?
is why has that happened? If we can go to Mars and get so quote unquote real footage from Mars, why haven't we done anything close to being on the moon? We don't. We're going past the moon now,
Okay,
man.
can you look at the box? Can you look at the box? Because
What
Dr.
box?
Hasselblad, he has something for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The guest box. Thank you for the gift, Marco.
Let me see. Two guests. Go ahead. Let me see. Let me see. Let me click on it. I don't think I'm finna
And
do
we have a live feed from the ISS. I know you're not going to believe that, but we
but
do.
you know why I
But
don't
we
believe it?
also got
You know why I don't believe it? Because the live feed is not 24/7. Even if you watch the live feed, they always have breaks in the live feed. They never, ever, ever, not
right.
one
They
time.
have breaks, but
Yes, they
it's
do have
live
breaks.
too,
It should be no breaks in the live feed. It's a live feed.
right?
I'm
But
trying to
they
get to the
also
box,
have the
man.
live feed
Let me
going
get to the
on.
box. I'm trying to get to the box. Let's see.
Yeah, he's doing it. 1 second,
Okay,
Josh.
okay, okay, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Boom, boom. They in here. Let's go. I just clicked on it.
Or
No, Leviathan, if we had live feed from the moon, of course we would believe it, but they don't. What I'm trying to say is people
what's
say
up,
they don't make
Josh?
enough money, but
How's it going, man?
it's
So,
just,
is a million miles away from Earth far enough?
what you mean a million miles away far? What are we talking about?
There's two different satellites that give us photos every single day. One
Photos.
does every one does every 10 minutes. The other one does every 40 minutes. Both are a million
But why
miles
can't they
away.
just, what's wrong with having a 24/7 simultaneously live stream of
Right?
the,
Do
what's wrong with
you
that? Why haven't they done that? It's my asking.
right?
Satellites rotate.
Do you know how hard it is to broadcast video
Oh
from
my
that
god.
distance?
But
No,
do we not have video of the Mars rover? What are you talking
Yep.
about?
Yeah,
Is Mars not, hold on, is Mars not further than the moon? Thank
it
you.
is, but
My
that
point is
doesn't
exactly.
mean
So
we're gonna send a.
what you're saying is contradicting yourself. You talking about how hard it'll be. It won't be that hard for you to finish on
Okay,
Mars.
Ty, how about this? Let me ask
What?
you a question. Okay, what if I asked you to set up a live feed in China? Would you go there and just set a live feed up there?
A live feed of what?
China. What if I told you to go
What do
to
we?
China and
That
set a
has
live
nothing to do
feed?
with what I'm talking. What do you mean a live feed of China? What do you? What?
Listen,
You're not making sense.
putting a live feed on the moon would be pretty difficult, and it's
How would it be
pretty
difficult?
unnecessary at the same time. They're spending money for things that they don't have to. By the way,
What are you talking about? So
Dr. Hasselblad is in the box. He
let me
got
ask
picked
y'all,
on.
let's ask y'all in the chat. Do y'all not believe it'd be lucrative? If any kind of corporation, I don't care what it is, McDonald's, Nike, whatever, could sponsor a 24/7 live, what the money would be pouring in. So why haven't this been done? But you want to talk about going to
Dr.
Mars, which is, hold
Hasselblad is
on,
in the box.
let me finish. But you want to talk about, we
Alright.
see quote unquote real footage from Mars, which is way further than the moon, but we can't do it from the moon. You sound idiotic. Go ahead.
We have
We don't.
satellite.
We do not
We have
have
a
a live
satellite
feed.
on
We
the
do not have a 24/7 live feed uncut of the moon or of the
okay,
Earth.
but we have
We
a
just don't.
satellite at the moon. And by the way, check your guest box. Dr. Hasselblad got kicked down.
All right, let's see. I said the other see. Go ahead. Boom, boom. I don't know if y'all made it in or not.
There we go. He's back. What's up,
the
Animal?
video we have. The video.
What's
we
going
have
on, guys?
How's it going, Animal? Good to see you.
What's
Good to see you
up?
too, brothers.
So, Ty, the video we have from Mars is our individual photos stitched together. What you don't have is like 4K video that you would see during the Super Bowl. And that's the point. What you're asking for is really hard to transmit over those distances and get the type of bandwidth that you want. It's something that we inherently know on Earth. Transmitting a 4K from the Super Bowl is a pretty expensive thing, which is why part of the reason why you end up paying a lot of money if you want to have the NFL Sunday ticket to watch every single game every single Sunday. Just to watch every NFL game is like $400 per person.
No. How much?
Right.
How much do you think it costing? We'll ballpark figure how much you think it will cost to do
Just to launch to the moon once is $9 billion in today's money.
So how
And
much?
that's just the launch. That doesn't include like making the devices that you want to put on the moon, having someone on the moon. That's an unmanned launch. Artemis 1 unmanned, $9 billion for one launch.
How much I to save up if you get $68 million a day? A
You
day,
don't get 68.
a day,
Yes.
not a year,
Yeah.
not a month,
So
a day.
so that money is appropriated. When NASA gets money funding to do a project, they're only allowed to use the money for specific things.
And they haven't given us
And
anything.
if they want to do something else, they have to go back to Congress and get permission to do it.
That's
And
still
Congress has to approve it. So it's
So
not
what- so-
like
so, okay, put it like
it's
this.
not like they just get handed a check.
No,
and
I
it's
don't
like,
believe. I don't believe that.
go.
I don't believe that either. I don't
Right.
believe that. I
And
don't believe that at
also,
all.
they
I
get a
don't.
yearly funding.
But I'm saying, but I don't believe
they
that
get
they
a yearly
get.
funding.
But see what I'm saying though. See,
Wait, let me talk.
first of all,
They get a
I'm an
yearly
American citizen.
funding,
We are
and
paying
they
for
have
that.
a lot of expenses to pay.
But you keep.
Right, but
but
they
I'm
don't get
saying,
that
so
much
what
money
has
from the president.
what has
Right.
okay? Put it like this
Well,
then. What has
what's the
our
percentage-
what has
one
our
second,
tax
one
money?
second,
Let me ask you a question though. Just for what's our tax money that they've taken from us for decades now? What has that been done to further the evolution of mankind? What has happened in that time?
The devices that we're all talking on came from the space industry. The microprocessors that go into our phones and our computers were first developed by the space industry because they needed smaller computers because they need things to be small and lightweight. The small cameras that we have on the back of our phones came from the space industry. There's a multitude of other things. But the fact that all of us are talking on here and you're using a small camera that's attached to your computer and a computer with microprocessors means you're benefiting from your tax dollars going to the space industry.
Right.
That's
And
very well
also,
said.
I'd like to say
But-
one more thing about the payment. So they get a yearly budget, right? They get paid yearly, and they have a lot of expenses. You have to think about all the taxes they have to pay and all the
They don't pay taxes.
their workers, and yes, they do.
No, they do not.
all
What are you
their
talking about? You
workers and all
see,
the
look,
equipment.
you're not even in the United States. They don't pay taxes. They take
All
our
the
taxes.
food, all the helium, all the oxygen, all the.
But this is what I'm trying to
spare
tell
parts,
you.
all of the
They
everything.
own the hens.
Yeah,
What do you mean? But see, this is what I'm trying to say though.
It doesn't matter.
This is my
if
question.
a company is
I
government-owned,
want
they still
to,
pay
but I want
taxes.
to answer the first part of the question that he asked me about the technology. Now, do you believe that the technology we have today, that we have right now, how long you think that the elite, so-called, how long do you think that technology existed before they gave it to the public? How long do you think that existed before then? Because you think that every time you get a new technology, you're gonna just bring it out right then? No.
some of it existed, like GPS was first used by the military. The internet was first used by the military, but not in the same way that we use it today.
But
And
so you're telling me when it comes to technology, rapidly advancing technology, that when
Yeah.
we get that new technology, within probably like a year or two, the public knows about it?
Yeah.
Not,
I mean, they know
no,
about it
that's,
immediately.
that's not what I said.
I'm
but-
asking. I just
So does the government have technology that we don't know about? Of course, there's top secret military stuff that the average Joe isn't going to know about.
right.
Does that mean that they're hiding the shape of the Earth from us? Absolutely not.
I never said they were. See,
It just means that they have top secret stuff.
So once again, see, I never get a straight answer with y'all. How much do you think it would take
What?
for
I'm
a
trying to be as-
24/7?
What's that?
How long? How much money? Right? Do you not think that'd be very lucrative to have one of these sponsor
Right.
what's going on?
Right.
That's my only
Sure.
question.
Do you
It's a
so
reasonable question.
be aware of what you're asking for, though, because you said you don't like the ISS feed because it cuts out.
It does.
It cuts out because it's in space 250 miles.
And it's
away
also
from
going
us.
17,500 miles per hour, but it had humans on there fixing it,
Sure.
which in itself is
The moon, but the moon is even further away. So that video, if you have to have high definition 24/7 feed from the moon, It's going to be glitchier than the ISS is.
So
It's
Yep.
further away.
correct me if I'm wrong.
That's why they send photos back.
Correct me if I'm
Right.
wrong.
So
Photos are
they
easier to
Correct me if
not
I'm
transmit.
only is it
wrong.
more
Excuse me.
expensive,
I want y'all to
but
correct me
you
if I'm
won't even
wrong.
get what you want.
I got a question. Correct me if I'm wrong. So the first ever televised moon landing for the public,
Mm-hmm.
and they talked to the president of the White House. How long a delay was that on the House? How long of a delay was it? Just answer the question.
7 seconds.
7 seconds. In 19, when was that? What, 1968 or whatnot?
It would still be 7 seconds today. It's not the delay. It's the signal that you're going to have to send back and how much information it's carrying. Carrying voice is drastically different than carrying 1080, 4K, 8K, even smaller video than that. That's why the broadcast video for the original moon landing looks so terrible.
They lost it. They take over.
If you look at the video, if you look at the video that wasn't broadcast and compare it to the broadcast video, it's a night and day difference.
So why not? So what are you? So what are you saying then? It sounds like a whole bunch of deception going on.
Because
It's
sending a video feed from that far, is it possible? Sure, I'm sure they could set something up. But what I'm saying is what you're expecting, what you want is
a lot of money.
watching the Super Bowl. You want to watch the Super Bowl from the moon. But you want that type of quality. You want to sit down, look at your TV, and see high quality.
No, it has to be high
the
quality.
Earth is rotating.
Just show us uninterrupted footage for 24 hours. It's not hard to ask for.
So they're wasting money to get something that's not even good.
But they're wasting money
it costs
anyways
a lot
because
of money and they don't benefit at all.
So let me ask you a question then. Can I ask you a question then? Once again, it's a question. Y'all heard of Van Allen radiation belts, right? It's a question. Y'all ever heard of it?
Josh, I want to answer this.
Okay, so
Go for it.
the moon, is the moon past the radiation belts or is it in lower Earth orbit?
Past.
So why are they saying that we no human can pass Van Allen radiation belt, but we just did it in 1960 something?
Wrong. They never said we can't get past
What-
it. It's
just they
actually
have. What do
really
you
easy
mean?
to get past it.
They
haven't.
what do you mean? What are you
Pull it
talking
up.
about?
Pull it up. Pull it up.
What? Gladly.
Pull it up.
Yeah. So go. Yeah.
Gladly.
I'm pulling it up right
Go
now.
ahead.
Well, what are you? Boy, what?
While you're pulling it up, while you're pulling it up, let me tell you, the Van Allen belts, they are just alpha and beta particles. Okay, alpha particles we can block out with our skin. Okay, simple. Beta particles a little more tricky, but with simple protection, we're past it. Now they were only there for like maximum, I think 30 minutes, which barely damaged the ship at all. Barely.
Little longer than that. It was about an hour, but semantics.
An hour. Alright, I didn't know that. But that's it. So the Van Allen belts, they're not dangerous at all
But why would they say it is?
to us. The protection, it's not.
So what country are you in, Doctor Hasselbad?
He's in China.
See, this is what I'm saying, man.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I'm not trying.
I'm
Okay,
joking.
I'm about to say.
I actually
All right.
live on.
My bad.
So I'm hanging out with the rover.
My bad.
So to be clear, Ty, the astronauts, any astronaut that went through the Van Allen radiation belts during the Apollo missions received approximately 3 chest X-rays worth of radiation. Most of the population on Earth has received more radiation than that. My 11-year-old has received more radiation than the Apollo astronauts did just getting X-rays because she's constantly breaking something. So it's not that dangerous, especially if you plan for it. Just like they plan when they give you an X-ray, they plan for it. The room is made a certain way. The X-ray radiation is directed to a specific part of the body. The people that are always the X-ray technicians now go behind a lead wall because they're constantly going to be in contact with those particles. So it's not hard. And if you watch any footage of them traveling through on the way to the moon, like during Apollo 11.
Right.
There's a flight surgeon who, well, maybe they called him a flight doctor. Either way,
Right.
he's actively monitoring his screen, and on his screen, it shows you how much radiation each astronaut is receiving. So they knew in real time how much radiation they were receiving.
Okay.
Right. And the ship they only received 16 rads of radiation.
Right.
And fatal is 300. They would have to go back and forth to the radiation so many times just for it to be fatal. So, again, the radiation belts, they're not lethal at all. That's like 56 minutes in the alpha and beta particles.
That's not what they tell us.
Right. Just show me the video and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I don't know why I'm using YouTube. I could have, you never find out with YouTube. Give me a second. But it's from NASA, so I'm wearing that thing. But yeah, like I said, a lot of people in NASA saying they cannot even leave lower Earth orbit. They're trying to say they never. These are current people that are saying they never. Being not a science guy, we never passed lower Earth orbit, which I find crazy because we just went to the moon.
Right, we did go to the moon. We went in November. We're going 2025. We're going 2028.
Right.
And I think 2026.
Okay,
and then 6 times during Apollo. We went with... Go on.
Alright, so while I'm trying to find this video, which is probably hard to find, the video that I have that you actually can see, the last video on my feed, right? I'm asking you a question. I don't know if y'all seen it or not. So they were asked about stars, right? Can you see the stars? If you look at my video, the co-pilot said they didn't see the stars. The second said they seen a lot of stars, but they went to the same place on the moon. How is that possible? Go ahead, I'm listening.
Because one of them stayed in the command module while the other 2 landed on the moon. So they were seeing completely different things.
They said, in space. This is the context. The same question. When you were in space,
is the moon in space?
Listen, when you were in space, what stars look like? The first, whatever you want to call it, astronauts said, "Yeah, we can see the stars and you can see the moon and this and it's so vivid." But the same question was posed in space about stars. And it was like we didn't see anything. How? Let's answer the question.
Yeah, because one of them was on the dark side of the moon way more than the other 2 were.
The whole space. No, listen to what I'm saying though. But the whole space. Go ahead.
Sure. So if you're standing on Earth in the daylight, do you see the stars?
Stop. You that's not equating to what we're talking about in space. These are people who are actually closer to the stars. No, it's not. They ask these people. This is what I'm saying though. Just what I'm saying. Just listen. With a common sense mind for a minute. They asked one set of people. They didn't say where you was at. They said when you were in space, when you were traveling through space, what do you think about stars? The first people said when they were traveling through space that they seen no stars at all. The second group, same company, when you were traveling through space, you seen everything. That is just idiotic.
When your eyes adjust to the dark, you get to see the stars. Like there was just one astronaut that went behind the lunar lander. His eyes adjusted to the dark and he saw the stars. But when it's during like day and they're receiving sunlight, of course they're not going to see the stars because it's basically daytime. Their eyes are adjusting to
when you were traveling. You know what I'm saying? Before you even got to the moon, when you were traveling in space, you trying to tell me it's a way you could traveling in space, and somebody sees the star, somebody doesn't. That's the dumbest. Why do you even go for that?
They were in different places. If they went to the dark side, if they went to a dark place, they would see the stars. Obviously, many of the astronauts did. There's just a few that didn't see them because they were not in the right place.
So basically, you're saying you believe it. You believe when I say that. So you believe that there was a contingent of astronauts that went to space and saw absolutely no stars at all. And there was another contingent for the same company that went to space, traveled through space, and seen everything. You actually believe that?
Yep.
Okay, we stop right there then. That speaks for itself. Okay, so what's next? That's crazy. That's crazy. Y'all, that's
When
just
you're on
just give away
Earth.
anything, man. Go ahead.
But Ty, if you're on Earth during the day, you don't see any stars because our eyes are adjusted to the light
We're not talking about Earth.
that's in front of us.
We're not talking about
right.
Earth.
So listen. I wasn't finished. You got to hear the whole explanation.
Go ahead.
Once the rocket leaves Earth and starts traveling towards the moon, from their perspective, they are always going to see a lit moon ahead of them. That moon will always be lit because they are traveling towards it. So now they have another bright object in the sky that if they look out the window, their eyes are adjusting to that bright light, which is why the command module pilot is the only one who's likely to see the stars on a regular basis because he's going around the dark side of the moon. The sun gets blocked out, his eyes can adjust and look out the window. It's a very simple concept.
When you get closer to light, does it get brighter or does it dim?
I know
same
exactly
concept.
where you're going.
I could use your concept of what you just said with the flat Earth, because you think that the sun is local and the night side doesn't receive any light, yet the sun is closer to us.
Because
concept
our
with your
model isn't saying the sun is so many times bigger than the Earth.
Right? No,
You can't
that's not
comprehend
what
that.
I'm saying.
What we're trying to say is, first of all, corpuscular rays just automatically just debunk that. But what I'm trying to ask you is, really? Are y'all really believing what y'all saying right now?
Yeah.
Y'all really? So.
Okay,
So you think corpuscular rays lead you to the sun because they actually touch?
No, because you can't translate the sun. I never said that. You got. I never.
Well, you
I
mentioned
never
corpuscular rays.
I'm just saying corpuscular rays because Eratosthenes said the rays came in parallel, and he did.
Yeah, they do, just
How?
like railroad tracks. Just like railroad tracks. If you stand in the middle of railroad tracks, there are parallel lines that appear to converge.
Nobody in the history of Earth, no human alive has ever looked in the sky and seen parallel sun rays. Stop lying.
No, the pilots have photos of them from above, and I have seen parallel corpuscular rays. You can see them from the surface. If you're standing directly in the middle of corpuscular rays, they appear to converge. If you go far enough away and look at them from the side, they are parallel. Just like a stained glass window in a church. If you stand in front of a stained glass window in a church that doesn't have lights on inside and the sun is shining directly through it, it's going to be corpuscular. However, if you walk away from that window and look at it from the side, they're going to be parallel.
Which also works on the flat Earth model. What's your point?
Corpuscular rays don't prove. The people say, "Oh, look, that proves the local sun." It doesn't. It doesn't prove a globe Earth. It just corpuscular rays is not a proof that the sun is local. We can actually measure the amount of energy we get from the sun, and a local sun would not allow for that. We can measure per square inch the wattage we get over the surface of the sun that is lit at that period of time. If we freeze a moment in time, if it's noon where you live, and we freeze that moment in time and measure the wattage per square inch of everywhere on Earth that's lit at that point in time, we know how much energy the sun is putting out. In order for the sun to put out that much energy, if it was closer, it would have to be ginormous. It just doesn't work. There are many ways to disprove.
It doesn't have to be ginormous because our model.
No, it would. Your model's wrong. That's the point. You don't have a model. Models make predictions.
What do you mean I have a model? You just see my what?
So a working model makes predictions.
Okay, yeah,
Can
you're
you
right.
make predictions?
So it does make predictions. So okay, so let me ask something. Okay, put it like this: seasons, right? Let me ask you a question about seasons. So, did you know that in the winter, right? In the wintertime, they say that the sun is actually closer to the surface, but in the summertime, it's actually further, which makes absolutely no sense. Explain
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because the distance has basically nothing to do with seasons. It's like
Wow.
if you have a heat lamp. No, listen,
Yeah.
if you have a heat lamp, like if you go to a buffet and they use those heat lamps or whatever, and you put your hand directly under the middle of the heat lamp, it's going to be really hot. But if you move your hand 6 inches to the right or 6 inches to the left,
Right.
all of a sudden it's not going to be as hot because you're not getting direct sun or direct heat from that lamp. And the further away you move, the cooler it gets. That's all that's happening with seasons and Earth's tilt.
So why do they tell us that then?
Okay, I have a question about you about your seasons,
Go ahead.
Ty. So can you pull up your model?
I got you right here. Let me take this off the screen real quick. And
Good day. Okay. So can you point out the equator?
yes. So the equator is actually will be that. You gotta zoom it in. I'll probably zoom it in. So the equator would be. I don't know if you see the color of the lines, but it's the one. It's the first circle, the first inner circle. No, yeah, the first inner circle.
Right. So since the sun is closer to the poles,
Right.
why is it that the equator is hotter than the northern or the southern hemisphere?
Because we don't. First of all, models involve
Since
equator.
the sun is closer to the southern and northern
But
hemisphere,
you can't.
that means
But
they should receive more
you
heat
can't put
and
it
light.
respectfully, just respectfully. You can't look at it from a. This is what I'm saying. Is you can't look at. You have to look at it from our perspective to make sense. Of course, on a hemisphere, no, we don't think there are hemispheres. So you're just saying this, not making sense to us because we don't think that. We're talking about this flat Earth realm that we're talking about. The middle inner circle is the equator. The order of tropical Cancer, urban tropical Capricorn. And if you just go, I could just fast forward real quick for you. Just do it really fast. It's gonna. That's what it does. This is exactly what it does. You want to go through seasons? You can jump ahead through season for it. This is what we
Right, but that
believe
doesn't
in.
really answer my question.
What?
But okay, so you say that I should understand your model for me to understand it
No.
fully.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say
Right,
understand.
what
I
did he
said
say?
that you can't try to ingratiate globe Earth mathematics and topography with our model because we don't even see them in hemispheres. So of course this is gonna look crazy to y'all because y'all think about hemispheres. We're saying that just look at what we're talking about. We're not saying that it's 93 million miles away. We're not saying the moon is that. We're
Yeah,
trying to
but
say
that
what.
doesn't
No,
matter. The sun is
it
really
does matter.
close
It
to
matters.
the.
It matters
No, wait,
because.
listen.
Go ahead.
If the sun is literally right above your flat Earth, then it should be really hot everywhere, or just at the
That makes no
hemispheres.
sense. Light
Yet
is light
the
doesn't travel
heat
forever.
only travels best to the equator when it's closer to the poles.
This is no.
And also,
So
okay,
let me ask you a
okay,
question.
leave
So
that
what?
alone. Leave that alone.
No. I'm saying, but
One
okay.
second.
So I can answer the question though. It's really simple. So you telling me that the model we have right here that we believe in, and the way the sun is. So you saying that the sun should be lighting up the whole flat Earth surface right now? That you trying to say?
Yeah, it should be the sunlight should be covering the whole Earth everywhere. But apparently there's an
So the size.
invisible
So that's another question. Does
barrier.
size not matter?
No, for the
So
sun,
this is how I
no.
know you're disingenuous. So you telling me I can take a light bulb? That's not gonna light up a whole table, is it? If I get a bigger light bulb, it would, right? So this is what I'm trying to tell you. You talking about the context and the
No,
size
but
of it.
what type of light bulb are you talking about?
If you could take any kind of
Because
light bulb, right, and you stood over a flat circle table and you put it directly above the table, it will not light up the whole thick table. But if you put
it
it, if
does.
you have a
If it's
big enough,
reflecting light, if you can see the table and the whole room around you, then yeah, the light is reaching it.
so a
But
light, so
since
it's
we
not the
can't
question.
answer why sunlight cannot go
I
past the
did answer it
invisible
for you.
barrier of light,
It's the answer is
but
in itself.
okay, but this is a plasma we're talking about. This is not a flashlight. This is not a flashlight where it just directs light to one specific area of the table. But let me ask you a question. So, for me to understand your model, you have to actually tell me the distance, the size, and the temperature of your sun on your model.
So this is
Because
the but
we Us scientists, teachers, professors,
Authority.
and people that learn this
Appeal to authority. Go
can
ahead.
do experiments on their own, and it all leads to a globe Earth. Yet you guys have not done any measurements
So
of the Earth
the lights in the
or
sky.
the
Hold up. Let me
sun.
ask you a question. So the lights
No,
in
no,
the
no.
sky.
Answer my question.
That's what I'm saying. I'm asking you a question. Because the
You're
answer to my
answering my
question
question
is
with a question?
the answer to my question is we don't look in the sky and let it determine what the shape of the earth is under our feet. We don't do that. That's our answer. Because that's what y'all did. That's
No,
basically what it's based
use
off. Cause no, go to
we
scientists.
use
They
radars,
believe since the
radar.
sun and the luminary and the planets are spherical, that's why we're on a sphere. That's the basis of the whole science thing. We all learned that very early in school.
That's not even my question.
That is a question.
My question was, why can you guys not calculate the distance, the size, and the temperature of the sun? If it's a lot closer, it should be a lot easier. Because we've done it many times, so yeah, you guys haven't done it
So
once.
you hold on, you done it many times. So you telling
Yeah,
me
we've done it a million times. 93 million miles away. It's the same
93?
result we get every single time.
Do
Yeah.
you do know that math doesn't make anything true?
So if I say 5 plus 5 is 10, is it fake?
No, it's not fake. It's a wish call. But what I mean, I can say put it like this. I can say I got $100 and you give me $100. I have $200. That's real math. But guess what? I don't have $200. So that's what I'm saying. You gotta think about just because it could be an
Wait,
equation
what did he
for.
say?
No, this is
If
what
I
I'm saying.
give you $100, you have
Also, this
$200?
is what I'm saying. I can make a blueprint, a plan for a whole theme park. Work everything right. Everything checks out good. But if I don't actually build a theme park, it's just nothing but numbers. We're trying to tell
Right,
you
so,
that there's
okay,
no
how
way
about
in
this?
hell you would know that the sun is 93 million miles away. It's preposterous.
Yes, we do. There's a lot of different methods. But what I'm asking you is why can you guys, any flat earther, not, get the distance, get the size or the temperature? But since you
Because
cannot answer that,
we
how about this?
don't
How
know.
about, right, you don't know
Here's the
because it's
problem.
fake.
Here's the problem. Matter of fact, it's the whole topic. We don't. Flat earthers
You use
no.
math
Listen,
for
listen,
everything.
listen. Flat earthers know that they don't know everything. Globe earthers think
Exactly.
no. This is what I'm
I
saying.
agree
Listen, can
with that.
I finish what I'm saying? You not let me finish what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Because I'm
yeah,
finna
yeah.
flame you right now. I'm gonna start back over. Flat earthers believe we know that we don't know everything. Globe earthers believe they already got it figured out already and this good to go. Globe earthers don't question things. Flat earthers do. It's the only
That's not, no,
difference.
no, no. That is very
The only,
false.
first of all,
We never take something
hold on, time out. The
and
only
not
reason you
question it.
believe,
We
this,
wait one
this is what I'm
second.
saying, this is what I'm
Let me
saying.
finish.
The
You
only
think
reason you
that
believe that, the only
we
reason you believe
just
in your model
no,
because somebody told us about it.
no. That is false. It is
That's
false.
real.
You
We all went
think
through the same.
no, no, no. One second. Just listen to what I have to say. You think that this is like a religion where we just
It
look at
is a religion.
scientists. They tell no. You have to let me finish. They tell us, and then we believe them. No, they show us how to do it, what they did, everything, the whole process, and that is not the only scientist that does it. Every other scientist and every other individual that has read this hypothesis or whatever, we can do it, and if we get the same results, it will eventually lead to a scientific theory, right? So we
Yeah.
don't just take something and believe it immediately. No, 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 that is definitely not us. That is not
That's what
science at
school.
all.
So hold up.
Unlike religion,
Hold
like
up.
Christianity, where if we say, "Oh, the Jesus is real," oh well, how? That is basically belief, where you just
Hey,
believe your pastor and not ask any questions.
listen.
That is not science. Go on.
Ask you a question.
Yeah,
Where did the information in those science books come from?
scientists.
So you're
Yeah, from
believing.
people
So you're
running
okay. So
experiments.
Right.
so you're believing because you don't do it yourself.
No, no, Ty. There are people. There are amateurs. For instance, you claim the sun is local. You're claiming the sun is approximately 3,000 miles away or so. There are amateur
I know
radio
that.
operators who can measure the distance to the moon from their own homes, and it always works out to be the distance that we're told. They're not making
But
any
you're
assumptions.
basing.
But
Yes, you are. Hold
so
up.
if
Yes, you are. Because you're
no,
assuming. that the moon is a spherical object. First of all, you assume the moon is physical.
No, no,
So of
no, wait,
course,
no, wait. How does you don't even know the method that they're using to measure the distance? How does measuring the distance? How do you how does measuring the distance to something tell you what shape it is? Why does the shape matter?
because
I'm
you
I'm
don't because
I'm
this is what I know.
talking.
This is what I know. I don't care what it comes to, whether it's outer space or anything in life. If you cannot go to the actual thing and touch it and see it for its size where it
So
is,
you
you have
can't
no.
measure
Okay,
the
no, no,
distance.
no, Josh. Let me
This is what
say
I'm
it. Let
saying.
me let
See,
me
this is
answer
what I'm
this
saying. This is what I'm
one.
saying.
So,
I'm saying stuff that's
okay,
common sense.
okay,
No.
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
No,
Can
you
I
don't
answer what
understand
you're
what I'm
saying?
saying. Because what I'm saying, if you
Yeah,
can't
yeah, I
touch
do, I
it,
do, I
if
genuinely
you
do.
can't touch it, you can't go to
Right,
it. You don't know what it is.
exactly. That's correct.
Okay,
So
is that correct?
since I
So,
don't,
but you're
since I don't,
assuming.
wait, let me just say, since I don't see China right now, do I have to doubt of its existence?
Oh my God.
I've never been to China. I've never actually seen it. It's definitely not real. You know what? I agree
And
with you, Ty. I've never seen air molecules. Definitely not real.
yeah.
Wow, man, y'all are something else,
And
man.
but Ty, even more so than that, are we able to measure
First
the
of all,
distance to?
well, yeah,
Can we measure the distance to things without touching them, without physically going to them?
certain things and to a certain distance, yes. Certain things, not
Uh,
everything, certain things.
so why does it stop at a certain distance?
Because anything, can I say this one more time? Anything that we can't touch and actually go to and see exactly what it is, we cannot make a claim to what it is. And I give you
No,
one
no,
example.
I'm talking about measuring the
I give you an example.
distance.
I know. I'm giving you an example of that. I'm gonna give you a good example of that. A real life example. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, let's say you're on a road. You know how roads have hills work. Now you're on a road. Now this is something that you do on Earth. You're on a road, and you see a big flashing single light source in your basically in front of you for I don't know how many miles it is.
All right.
Do you off top know what that is? No, because guess what? It could be a
I don't
no.
care what it is. I'm
Listen. But listen
talking
what I'm
about
saying.
measuring the
Listen what I'm
distance.
saying. Can you listen what I'm saying? Now, any person can say like, okay, it's a beam of light coming towards me, but as common sense and Mother Nature shows,
Right.
when you get close to an object, it might even be spherical. Just because it appears a spherical light in the sky does not mean that it's no. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. If you can't touch it, you don't know how far it is. You can't know what it is. It's theory.
So
Just
once
admit that it's
again,
theory.
you ignored everything I said.
No, I didn't know
So
everything you
so let me
said.
break it. Yeah, because I was talking about this shape doesn't matter. Does radar work?
Radar? Yeah.
Does ra- so we can use radar to measure the distance to objects.
Okay. Once again,
Yeah. So
this
that's
guy,
that's
man.
one of the ways that's one of the ways you can measure the distance to the moon. Ham radio operators do it all the time. If the sun was local, they would be able to bounce their radio signals off of the sun and get a different type of return. That's what you're ignoring. There's many different ways, and you can do it even with a close friend of yours who
Right.
has a camera. You can take a picture of the moon. He can take a picture of the moon. You guys can line those pictures up and figure out the distance to the moon. And guess what? All of it always works out to what we're told. So if we can do it with the moon, why can't they do it with the sun? We can prove unequivocally that the moon is not local through simple observation.
Okay.
If the moon was local, everybody would see a different side of it. Period. End of story. Everybody
So
always sees the same side of the moon.
All right. I said
on
Australia
that
a
too.
sees
globe,
the
yes.
sees.
You assuming on a globe. No.
Why does
You're not making this.
Australia see the
No,
moon
it's
upside
on a
down
flat
compared
Earth.
to us? Yeah.
Okay, look.
Why does Australia see the moon upside down compared to the U.S.?
I'm gonna answer your question. This is how you see upside down. Let's say you have stars you're stealing, right? We're gonna vault all of us. You're saving the room, right? In the room, you got stars in the ceiling, right? Let's say a 10-mile room. Just say 10 miles wide. You
Uh-huh.
on 5 miles
Uh-huh.
west, right? And on
Yes.
5 miles east at the other side of the room. When you
Can't
see
turn my
something in the
TV
sky,
on.
it's not gonna be the exact same way you see it, even though it's the exact same thing.
No, you're gonna see. So I'd turn my camera on, but since you're on your computer, I can't.
Yeah, my bad,
So
my
if you
bad.
if you have a light, if you have a light in your ceiling,
Right.
and it's in the middle, and you have one person at one end, one person at the other end, What you're going to see is opposite sides of it. What we observe in reality is everybody sees the same side, and Australia sees it upside down compared to us. So what you're saying, being in a room, looking at a ceiling and seeing things differently,
Right.
yes, that's true, but you're looking at opposite sides, which isn't what happens in reality. Australia sees the same side as the moon as the US, as
Because
everybody else on Earth does, but it's not upside down. No one in your living room is
right.
going to see the light upside down.
I never see you see like upside down.
Why
See,
do they see?
you put words in my mouth. I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. I didn't say you see it upside down. I said
No,
you see.
no.
I said you see the same.
This is something that happens in reality. If you look at if you go to Australia, which
Right.
I've been to Australia, or you look at photos of the moon with landmass in it, the moon is upside down in relation to what we see in the northern hemisphere. Everyone in the southern hemisphere sees the moon upside down compared to the northern hemisphere. You can't explain that on a flat Earth.
I just explained it to you. First of all, it's not even physical. It's a plasma. It's a reflection. Well, I mean, I
Not a
don't get why
plasma.
y'all
It's not a
put it like
reflection.
this. See, it seems like.
So
See, what's the one
so
saying about
so
y'all? Go ahead.
So Ty, do you have a light in your room in the ceiling
Yeah.
anywhere in your house? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to walk around the perimeter of that room, no matter how big it is, and look at the light the entire time as you move around. So at one point you're at the North Pole, at the next point you're at the ice wall, and then you're in the U.S., and then you're in China, and then you're in Australia as you walk around the room. Okay, no
Gotcha.
matter where you walk, that light will never flip upside down. And every time you take a step, you're seeing a different portion of that light. That's not what we see in reality. What you're describing doesn't match reality. It has to match reality because we make these observations every single day. So your example doesn't match reality.
Just because you can't comprehend doesn't mean it doesn't match it.
Bruh.
I'm just
Come
being real.
on,
Just because you
man.
can't comprehend it doesn't mean it doesn't match it. Okay, for
No,
instance,
Ty, come on. This has to end.
bro. Okay,
Genuinely.
no,
This
you
is a
have to end
toddler
because
I,
okay,
I,
explanation.
I think the trolling part of your name is coming into play here right now.
Yeah.
no. So what I'm trying to say though, I'm asking y'all like some real questions right now. Okay, forget all that point. Put it like that. You can have that point. I'll concede to that fact, or you want to call it. I concede to that.
There we
Okay,
go.
I
Alright.
will because look,
Okay, can I bring up another point?
because in reality, you actually are making a lot more sense than I'm thinking just then. So I'm left myself like, you know
Yeah.
what? You actually making sense with that.
There
That's
we
right.
go.
You making sense with that one.
Nice job,
I can
Josh.
give you that one for real talk. You making sense with that one. You right.
Alright, that's good. So, can I bring up another point?
Go ahead, my guy.
So, um, now I personally, I have worked at an aviation. Now, I'm not a pilot, but I've worked there.
Right.
I know a few pilots. I've talked to a lot of pilots. Now, during a flight, do you think we should be able to see curvature or not?
Yes, you should.
You should, yeah. We do. We do see
Really,
curvature.
really.
Right. Now, last month, I have been to a flight to Greece, and one of my pilot friends invited me to the cockpit, and I could stay there the whole flight.
Right.
I was there the whole time watching them, do their thing, do pilot stuff, and I could look around while we were in the sky. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Now, when I look out, it was a clear day, it was a good day,
Right.
I could see the edge, the curvature, right? Dr. Hasselblad has to drop down. Thank you for being here, Josh.
My bad.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I'm gonna drop down. Have a good one, guys. Thanks
All
for
right,
having
you
me.
too, man.
Take it
have a
easy.
good day. Anyway, so you can actually see the curvature from the plane, the cockpit, because the windows for pilots, they're made in a way where it doesn't add any distortion at all. The ones at the passenger seats, like the little aisle windows,
Right.
they're not really made that way because it's just adding money for no reason. They're just windows that gets distorted. But the ones at the cockpit, they're not. Now, when you look at the far from the globe, like the horizon, you can actually see a dip, which is the edge or the curvature. Now, if it was flat, that should be impossible. Now, I do have pictures, but again, cannot really open the camera.
Right.
So can you explain that? Or
Okay. Yes, I actually I can't explain that. So we'll start. We'll go back to the first part of your question, right? About you seeing the curvature. So have you ever heard about atmospheric dome of vision?
tell me about it.
The reason that we may perceive as sometimes to see curves when they're not because our eyes are circular. I can go into a little bit
Huh?
further. We're trying to put the thing for it, right? So to prove that, like put it like this, you look ahead of you, you look to east and west, you see the same all 360, right? If you got vision, no matter where you at, you see the same. You see the same way, front, backwards, north, south, east, and west, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If once again, y'all listen to me now. If somebody in the scientific community that's real respected tells you that even though they're playing, you should not see curvature, what would
You
you have to
should.
say to that?
There is not one scientist that said that you shouldn't be able to see the edge or the curvature from a cockpit of a plane.
Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson said it.
No, he said that you can see the edge from a plane,
He
which
didn't
is
say
what I
that.
said too.
I'm putting a video right now.
And you're right. Okay, can you pull up the clip of him saying that?
I'm saying that flat. I got this clip is on my.
All right, but if you have it, you can pull it up. What he said specifically, because I know what the conversation is about.
The
He said
conversation
that
was
you
about
should
it was
be
about the
able to
Red
see
Bull
the
jump.
edge from
You know about the Red Bull jump, right?
the Red Bull. You're right. The Red Bull jump had a fish-eye lens, and it was promoting a GoPro. They weren't really looking for like showing the curvature of a plane. That was a fisheye, right? So the curvature there is not real. It's curvature added on curvature, so it's going to be really curved. Um, but if you talk to the guy that actually did the jump, he he talked about how beautiful the Earth was, and he also did talk about the curvature. It was curved. Now there's interviews of him.
Hey, New Orleans, what's up, family? We in the city,
It's
man.
really loud.
Listen, after you get your crawfish, after you
All right. Look, I'm trying to pull up with the silence thing, man. See, y'all can do it with my phone. My phone's so damn out of age, out of whack. But yeah. So I'm trying to put in simple terms. Okay. It's hard to explain without the videos, man.
You can play the video, but just play it without any sound.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if you can be able to hear it. Make sure you gonna be able to hear it.
Right. So while you try to do that, I'll also bring up that since I worked at a CAE, I've also checked the books that pilots learn from. I've gone
get your
through
oysters,
it
after you get your daiquiri, I need you to.
Yeah. So I went a quick read, and it talks about the globe and gravity so much, a lot. It really does. You might not believe me, but trust me, I've seen it. And I have pilot friends. Now, I could invite one of them right now. He might join. And he's a pilot. He's read this book, obviously. He will tell you about how they always take account curvature and gravity, because they do. I've seen it myself. And now you can play your video.
No, you go ahead because
There's like turn on the
why
volume.
the sound. Like, I tried to mute the sound, but I don't know.
Can you mute the thing from the YouTube? On the when you click on the YouTube thing at the bottom right, you see like volume.
Yeah, because I have videos too of pilots saying, "Hey, they know it's fat." Right?
Yeah, I can also answer that. JT, which is a pilot, and Alex PUSB, he's a pilot too. Those are the pilot friends I'm talking about. And I also worked in aviation, as I said. This is basically an inside joke, and also because they're tired about it. They talked about flat Earth, and they genuinely laugh. They laugh really, really much, a lot.
Yeah.
And also, they get really bummed out when they're trying to do their job and what they're trying to do, and then someone just walks up to them and asks them a stupid question. Right? They don't have time for this. They're pilots. They have like a job to do. They say no, it's flat because they just want to get out of their hair, right? Because if they say yes, it's a globe, you're just gonna stay there and they're gonna rant about, oh yeah, but this and this and that.
But this one. Let me ask you a question, right? Hey, so Tall, appreciate it, man. Like I believe it. I'm not saying I'm passionate, but I'm not I'm not tied to anything like okay, flat Earth, right? It's just it's a conversation starter, right? I'm more of a
Yeah.
true earther. You put it like that. But I know flat Earth triggers people, so it gets people to come and listen to what I got to say. So that's why I put flat Earth in there. Because flat is the shape. Flat is not a shape; it's a description. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Ask me, go ahead, man. I just want to address that comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll like bring in my pilot friends. They'll talk about it. Then you can believe them because they're the actual pilots. I just worked there, and I've been with them. I saw what they've seen, but they know a lot more.
But so when you do that, when you do that, so but if I also pull up people who have talked to other real pilots and they say the contrary, then what would you say about that?
Right, as I told you, they're just trying to get them out of their head. Like because if a flat earther walks up to a pilot that's trying to do his job,
They're not gonna tell
right,
you.
trying to do what he's trying to do, they're gonna say yes, it's flat, just because they don't want them bugging the pilot.
No,
Right,
they'll
they're
say,
trying to do their job,
we have videos where people
and
say
if they say no, it's a globe, they'll say,
they
oh
can't
yeah,
say
but
they
how
can't say
about
it's
this?
flat. They can't. We have videos saying they can't discuss that. They can't tell
They
you that.
can. It doesn't really matter because they're pilots.
It
They just
matters a
have to
lot.
do their flight.
It matters a
Right.
lot.
Thank you for the gift, by the way. They only say yes, it's flat, and that's only some of them. There's a lot of them that says it's a globe, but some of them they only say that it's flat just to get them out of there because they don't want them
That's not fair. That's not
messing
fair.
up with their time.
That's not genuine. You can't say that. See now you
Okay, it's fine. I
because
will
you
bring up my pilot friends.
that's confirmation bias.
No, that's what they
It
say.
is
That's what they
because
said,
somebody.
and
But
that's
see,
what
this is
pilots
what I'm
say.
saying though. But if there's a pilot, legit pilot that logically believe that they know that the Earth is flat and they say it, doesn't just because you know somebody who says it's not flat, that doesn't prove anything either way side
Right.
either or side. But to sit here and
So-
say that your pilot friend is right and everybody else is a pilot is wrong, that's very
I'm not saying
disingenuous.
that.
It's disingenuous.
Okay,
It's very
no,
disingenuous.
but listen, like I told you, that I have talked to more than 20 pilots, more than 20. All say it's a globe
They're not
just
gonna
because
tell
they're
you
not
that.
doing their job at the time. I've
They're
sat
not
down,
going
I've
to
had a lot of
tell you
people.
that. That's what I'm
No,
trying
but
to tell
okay.
you.
So where do you think they learn about the flat Earth?
First of all, see, this is what I'm saying. Just because you don't see the word flat Earth, flat Earth,
Or
is
okay,
flat
true
Earth
Earth,
is just
whatever.
flat Earth is just a term that's used to demonize people for free think. Okay, we're talking about their manuals. We're talking about what they do.
Okay,
Everything is operated.
whatever it is, where do they learn about it? The
See, we're learning
pilots.
about it.
Where do they
They
learn
don't.
about navigation?
They don't. What you mean we're learning about? Of course, they have a little handbook, and it says treat the Earth as it's a
Right.
non-moving surface. They have to treat the Earth as such. They don't treat the Earth as a globe. They don't do that.
Now,
Now I want your pilot
as I
friends
told
to
you,
go back and tell
I've
me that
read
because they'll be. I
through.
want your pilot friend to show me in his pilot manual what it says that you have to treat the Earth as it's a globe that's spinning in outer space. You don't. You treat it as an unmovable plane. I would love for any one of your pilots to
Yeah.
put it up because they can't do it. I guarantee you they can't do it.
They
I put money
can,
on that.
and yet again, I'll tell you that
I
I
would put
have
my
read
money on
this
it.
manual book and the learning book. They've said it's a globe, and the book says it's a globe. Now, you want one of my pilot friends to come to your channel or whatever to say that it's a globe, right? You want that?
No. What I'm saying is,
You want them to explain
no,
this?
that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, even I know if I go up to any pilot right now and ask them, of course they're gonna say it's a globe. Of course they're gonna say it's not flat. I know that. What I'm trying to tell you is, I want to see in the manual because he's a government. Cause every
Sure.
pilot has a pilot manual, and,
Yeah,
and
they
ask
do.
them. Find the part where it says treat the Earth as a non-moving surface. I promise you it's in there. I promise you it's in there.
It could
That's what
be.
I'm saying. I promise you.
Again, okay. How about this? Now, what would you do if I told you that two of the pilot friends that I'm talking about has commented on your TikTok videos, which you haven't seen their comments?
Y'all haven't seen it. I don't be seeing. I only get notification comments. I haven't. Which video? Talking about the one with the moon on it, or which one?
It was the one with the the guy that was just making up a bunch of dumb points.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that was just like fucking sitting outside shouting and
Right.
shit, moving his arm.
Okay, I'll go back to it.
Right.
I got you.
Right. So his name is JT8110.
Right.
He has a blue background. Now, he's a pilot, and he also commented on my comment, right?
Right.
I tagged them both, and they both commented, and they both explained how it's a globe. With just two simple points.
Right.
It's pilot. So, go on that video, you'll see Alex PUSB. This is what he said. I will read it to you.
Go ahead.
Hello. Pilots use a how do I say this? Mercator projection.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that Mercator projection
Right.
to navigate, which is taken directly from a globe. It would be very hard to carry a globe everywhere. Now, it is a projection of a globe, so it's a map projection of a globe. That was Alex BOSB, pilot number 1.
Right.
Pilot number 2, JT810. He said, "Yep, if we tape all of our charts together, aligning to the grids, it would create a globe." Funny, eh? That's what he said. So, maps on the plane, which I've also seen, all the grids, put them together, it turns into a globe. That's coming from the pilots.
Now, what I would say that is, I agree. If they tell me that,
It's a globe?
I said I actually would agree with them. I'm not even calling them liars. I'm not. I just wanted them to just go into
Right.
their handbook where they want to see it, and show me where it says you treat the Earth as this movie.
They will.
Yeah, that's my own.
Genuinely, they will.
And it's kind of like, so you ever heard the term whistleblower?
No.
Whistleblower is somebody who, in a company, that really tells the truth about everything, but they won't actually, it's people that's credited, science is power, whatever you want to call it, that actually tell the truth, but they get blackballed, so you'll never hear about it in the general public. That's what whistleblowers are. There are whistleblowers, not only with NASA. I'm talking about whistleblowers every single company you think of. What is McDonald's, Nike? There are whistleblowers. These are real people that you won't get this in the public domain. They will not tell you. They just won't. Now I don't know how you do it in your country, but America's big on that. Like, you have conspiracy theory going on, you got somebody that's actually inside of whatever conspiracy theory is, that's telling the truth about it, they will blackball them, and sometimes even kill them. But this is a known thing for the public. So that's what I'm saying. Like, whistleblowers, I'm not saying that every whistleblower is right? But what I do say is, it's just funny how every whistleblower that comes out, you just don't hear about them again. They just drop face of the earth. Because I feel like, now tell me if you agree with this, I feel like if the globe Earth is so 100% truthful, right? If the globe Earth is just everything, everybody knows what's going on, and the flat Earth is just so ridiculous, why are people so triggered, and why are they wasting their time arguing with so-called stupid flat Earthers? We just go about your day. And the
Right.
and one more thing, and the fact that I can show you that the truth is being what we call shadow banned. They should at least raise a question about what's going on, because, like I said.
Oh, pause. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the pilot that I'm talking about actually just joined the live. Alex P. West B.
Yeah.
Invite him up, or if he joins the box,
All right. Big.
bring him up. So, I'd like to say the reason that us Globers debate this kind of stuff with flat earthers, generally because they're spreading false information, and also it brings entertainment to us. Genuinely, it's actual fun.
No, because I understand the entertainment part, because I'm just be real with you, man.
Right.
You probably one of the most commonsensical, smartest, level-headed globe earther that I know. I'm gonna be real with you. 95% of globe earthers out here are just here just to assassinate character, get ad hominems and red herrings, because I understand where you're coming from. You're coming from an actual perspective. You know what I'm saying? But most of these guys that be trying to defend globe Earth, and you start giving them, stuff like that, they don't even argue back like you. And you know what I'm saying? And Dr. Hasselbad, credit to him too. He's a good guy too. But most of these people coming here, they act like flat earthers are just like dumb, and we can't question anything. Like, no. What we're trying
Genuinely,
to say is,
I don't think that flat earthers are dumb. I do not think. I just think that in this topic, they know less. Now, everyone has a topic where they don't know about this, and for flat earthers, it's just this. But by the way, Alex is in the box.
all right, I'll put him in there. But yeah, but along with that, like, okay, so put it like this: you go on YouTube, right? You if you talk about any other conspiracy theory, you can talk about any other conspiracy theory. It's good, but for some reason they got to put a disclaimer under flat Earth. Like, why is flat Earth, if it's so dumb, why is it triggering people to act the way they do? Because what it's really showing is the sheep mentality of our country, of our whole world. Because I believe that half the time people don't know what they're talking about. Not like you,
Right.
not like Dr. Alphabet, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that's
I don't
my
know.
point. As in, they're not seeing it from our side, which is a lot of this stuff it's just not adding up. We keep catching people lying and lying and lying, and it's like, Earth just look past all of the lies. That's the only thing that kind of
Right.
bothers me with it.
No, I've never really seen a tag under a conspiracy video because whenever I watch them, it's always there. And I actually used to believe in most of them until I actually was open minded and I listened to the people that actually know this stuff, and I
But
finally got to know the
and
truth.
also though, it also
But
go ahead.
you're not checking the guest box.
Yeah, I said to both of them. I'm trying to see what I said was long to do. I just Alex and Kayvon. I said to
Alex
both of
P
them.
U S P.
Yeah,
Right.
I accepted it. I'm gonna go back out and do it again.
Right.
But yeah, while I'm putting it in the box, like I'm saying, like any like okay, for instance, like Bill Nye or Neil deGrasse Tyson, they don't even want to debate into the permanent flat earthers because they know their arguments will get splashed down. But they also gaslight us every other way around. I just, y'all hear me?
Kayvon, your mic is really loud. Can you mute it?
Oh, no, I'll mute it for a second.
All right.
Yeah, how's it going?
All right, man.
What's up, Alex? How you doing?
Y'all both here or?
Right, so this is Alex, the pilot, which I've mentioned a lot.
Yo.
So Alex, Ty wants to see your manual or the learning book that you get when you're, a pilot, and he wants to see not only parts where it says it's a globe, but he also wants to see one more thing. What was it, Ty?
No, I don't even have to see it. I just want you because I take his word for it if he listens to the name. I don't have to see it. I'm just saying, like, do y'all treat the Earth as a non-rotating plane? Is that what y'all
Nope,
treat the Earth as?
Nope, you treat it as a globe, as a rotating oblate spheroid. It's something that's brought up a lot throughout the training. I'm a commercial airline pilot. I've got a multi-engine instrument rating, a 737-800 type rating, commercial pilot's license, and an ATPL. And the 14 ATPL exams start very basic, so they're literally each module will start all over again by talking about the shape of the Earth because it affects different versions of flight, or different flight principles differently throughout the whole training. So, for example, when we use navigation, we talk about the way we navigate around a globe. We use great circle routes, which is why when you see aircraft flying on flight radar, they're flying a curve. We fly constantly changing headings because it's the shortest way around a globe. We talk about it when we talk about our instruments, how our instruments account for things like Earth rotation, how they account for topples, gyroscopes, etc. It's spoke about a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so with it being that the Earth spins at 1,000 miles per hour equator, right? So do y'all take into account like certain y'all speeds? Y'all get to like the southern hemisphere, or like how does that work, or is it just like all kind of relative?
No, so we don't think of the Earth as spinning at a certain rate of miles per hour because that's not how we measure. We wouldn't measure how fast a car works and how fast the car's engine works in terms of miles per hour. You'd think about it in terms of RPM. So the RPM of an Earth is 15 degrees per hour. But the thing is with aircraft are part of the Earth's atmosphere. So we are moving with the Earth. We're not moving against it. That's why it's not quicker to fly one direction than the other, because of the way that the atmosphere works. We are part of the atmosphere because we are within the Earth's gravitational field.
Okay. See, I never heard explanation before, so that kind of actually makes a lot of sense. I never heard explanation. I never heard it explained like that, right? So
Sure.
with flight paths, right? Y'all in the box?
Yep.
Except y'all, I don't see y'all in the box. Man, I'm not seeing y'all in the box. What's going on?
Yeah, while you find that, Alex, can you tell them about why pilots rush off flat earthers when they ask them if the Earth is flat or a globe?
So 9 times out of 10, if someone comes into the flight deck and asks me if the Earth's flat or round, I will obviously tell them it's round and a globe, and I will tell them that. A lot of the times, though, you do get people that will come in and again, I've never in my experience, but I can imagine it happening, where people come in and ask the pilots if the Earth's flat. They've got a turnaround they've got to make. The aircraft has to be airborne in another 20 minutes after the parking brake's set, and they will just say, "Oh yeah, it's flat. Bye." Just so that they can get them out of their hair. That happens. I can imagine that happening.
Right. And this
You know,
happened to JT a lot, which JT is
yeah, it
gay,
happens
by
to
the way.
JT a lot. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in. Yeah. It. Again, I've never had. I have never done it myself. I'll be honest. In America, I think it happens a lot more because in America there's a lot more people with this belief. In the UK, no one really questions this. Apparently, people can't hear me. You guys can hear me, can't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, just mute yourself and unmute.
yeah, I can hear
Cool.
you though. But yeah, like okay, so
Sorry, I'm back now. Sorry. Can everyone in the chat hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think. Can Ben and Chaotic? Can you hear me? I think they can. Oh, TikTok's so glitched, man.
I know, man.
Yeah.
I hate TikTok, man.
Anyway, Ty, you got any other questions for Alex?
Other than that, I would probably say, first of all, man, hey, thank you for your service, man. I can imagine flying an airplane. Just it has to be a mentally taxing job. Like really, it has to be like one of those. I don't know how you feel about it, but man, I'm scared of heights, so I can't even imagine. Hats off, put like hats off to you. That's being very serious. Like
It's a scary job, I gotta say. There's a lot of bad things that could happen.
yeah, it's a job that's needed.
Well, yeah, it's
Go ahead.
it's tough work, but I mean, it's like it's I enjoy it. It's what I wanted to do since I was a child. So
I do want to ask this though.
it's really I don't.
Jet fuel. What? How much? How much could you like continuously fly? In your thing. How much fuel you continuously fly without having to refill or whatnot?
Give me 1 second. I'm going to leave and join back in. If you'll let me back up,
All right.
just because I think there's some issues.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yeah.
I might leave and go on my phone.
Yeah, so that's just one of the pilot friends I have that
Yeah,
he knows a lot about this.
Yeah, I like the way he explained it because it's like okay, I can actually, like you said, I'm open to any kind of information, man. But I the way he explained it to me, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, Alex, he's a calm guy. He's smart, and I just think that you need someone that actually does this stuff to explain it to you, so then you actually understand better. He's in the box, the guest box.
He's in the box already. See, I don't see him in there. I don't see him in there. Let's see. I tried it again. Let's see. This TikTok thing, man, this is crazy.
Well, while you bring them up, I also want to mention that in that video that I watched, you said that engineers they don't take account curvature.
Right.
Yeah, my father, he's actually an engineer. He builds parts for like bridges and all that, and they do take account curvature. I've seen it. I've been at my dad's workplace. No, I can't explain it as good as him because he's the actual engineer.
Right.
He's really good at his job. But I know that he does take account. He does talk about it sometimes. I heard him talk about it. So yeah, I just want to point that out. Now I can't explain it in exact detail because I'm not really an engineer.
Cause I know it's one thing where I seen where they did the Suez Canal, like they didn't account for curvature already built through. It's certain stuff they tell us like that there's account for curvature doesn't add up. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm right about everything, but it's just a lot of stuff that the information we're given put like that. The information that's fed to us versus the information we can get now in this day and age, a lot of their lives are just catching up to them. And I'm not just talking about like pilots. I'm talking about as in just in general, not just fed up. Just any conspiracy. A lot of technology has advanced so good now where we can call out a lot of people and what I hate, I just hate when people try to appeal to authority or appeal to popularity. Like it's something that really irks me because I used to be the same way. Because after all, why would they lie to us about, the Earth being? Why would they lie about it? They won't lie about that. We just,
They wouldn't.
It wouldn't matter.
That's the thing.
But the lie is the lie
they
is
genuinely.
So now I can answer this question better because when I first started this, I couldn't really. I'm still new to the flat Earth debate stuff. That's why I'm not pretty prepared. But when people ask me why the lie, I couldn't think of a good reason why the lie. I found one reason because I feel like if you think that we're on a globe and that we have everything that's ever had to be discovered is all discovered already, and we're stuck on a ball, I feel that's kind of a form of slavery. But if we if we were like on a flat Earth with more land and more research, I think they would hide that. I think they would definitely hide that.
See, that's the thing. They've done so many things to prove a globe, and they've done it so much. It genuinely, it's not even the government doing it. This is just people. This is just civilians that don't work for the government that proves the globe Earth.
But we don't.
There's
But
people that can go to Antarctica and they go to the South Pole. I know you don't believe in the
no,
Antarctic
no, I
Treaty
believe
does
no,
not say.
I believe it. I have a family member that used to live in Antarctica. I mean,
That's
ironically,
amazing. That's really cool.
and
Right.
and from what they
So
told me is like it's not what people say it is, but he stayed there. He's in the military. I mean, we discuss stuff like I said, but
yeah.
like
So
if
when you have to ask for permission, it's all about just the environment. It's really nothing about you can't go to this place or that place.
but now that
You
part
can
is
go. You
actually
can
but
hike.
that part is actually this part is actually it's not a theory. Like you can't freely like put it like this. You can go to Antarctica. I'm not saying you can't go to Antarctica. Hear me now, people. I am not saying you cannot go to Antarctica. I'm not saying that at all. Well, I'm telling
Alright.
you cannot freely roam Antarctica until 2041. It's in the treaty. That's not a conspiracy.
Technically,
That's
Well,
it's not a conspiracy.
the reason for
Actually
that
real
is
thing.
the reason for that is because Antarctica's uninhabited. So what they don't want people to do is, for example, the United Kingdom to go across and suddenly draw a line in the sand and say this is ours, and
But they do.
and then same with like America then going and this is ours, and then we all start fighting over land ownership in Antarctica, especially if the word oil gets involved. For example, if there's oil reserves in Antarctica, people go and start claiming them as their own. It will just totally destroy it. So that was the whole point of the Antarctic Treaty. Was the whole point of it.
Okay, that sound okay. So
right? And also, you said that you can't go to certain places in Antarctica, which is true, right? There's very small sections that you can go to, but that's the same with like everywhere around the globe.
but it
There
should be like
are
that.
certain places where
I feel
you're
like as a
not
human
allowed to go
being,
in.
I feel like as a human being, just being a human being, you should be able to free sport anywhere we want to go on this planet. I feel like there should be no restrictions of.
Right, but it's,
There should be
it's
no restrictions
basically
in
just
space.
private
There should
property.
be
You
no
know what I
restrictions
mean?
but here's my thing. Okay, so the treaty, right? So okay, so we do know about the wars going on, right? Right, all these wars going on, but how is it that these countries that go to war with each other for decades, how can they all agree to all this war and famine, all other stuff, killing each other, all just everything that's going on? But how can they all just agree on that one? Do y'all not find that suspicious? Dude, this one I ask questions. I'm like, does it not sound weird to y'all at all? Do y'all not question anything? Y'all think that everything we hear is the truth? That's what I'm asking right now.
I never really. It's not that I don't question things. I obviously do. You know, that's what they only know if I know it's the truth.
Okay, cool.
I dig deeper.
So you might ask
But
about the question about.
I want to go back to the Antarctica thing. Now you think that they're like restricting places and you can't go there.
I'm
Now
not thinking
you're
that
saying
they can't.
yeah, right. So the places that are restricted are places that really is irrelevant. So like the South
Just
Pole,
making
for
sense.
example, if that's not restricted, you can go there. Many people have done that, and pretty sure my cousin even hiked to the South Pole, and he's not the only one. There's people like the world record of someone hiking through Antarctica, and he visited the South Pole, and you can actually see the pictures he took. Now there was no lands beyond or anything that was like proving a flat Earth, or like there was no, I don't know, edge, none of that. Now the places that are restricted, very irrelevant at all. You can look at the restricted places, which is really small.
That's
It's
counterintuitive.
irrelevant.
If something is irrelevant, you know what irrelevant means, right? Irrelevant means that
Yeah.
this is of no great importance. So if it's irrelevant, why restrict it? Doesn't sound weird to you? I'm trying to figure out what's
It's
going
like,
on.
would you like a random stranger to come up to your house
But they
without
don't
your
own.
permission?
But you don't. But that's my house. Nobody owns
Right, but
Antarctica.
these are just right. But this is like random research stations we're
But
talking about.
what I'm trying to say is, how can all of these nations agree on that one point, but still go to war with each other?
Right. It's
That's
for the better
that
good,
doesn't.
right? And it's still not every country. I'm pretty sure
Okay,
there's a few countries that don't
rewind.
agree.
Okay, let's rewind. Let's rewind back to the baby truth. Let's be all about flat Earth right now. Is there anything that you have learned in your life other than flat Earth that you heard from somebody authority that you just are skeptical about? Would it be anything?
From school,
School, No, religion, church, just anything, church, school, your
Oh,
job, just your whole mind state, your
well,
paradigm.
from my school, no. Genuinely, I've digged into it. I know that people say, "Oh, because you've been told as a kid, you would believe it." Genuinely, I've digged into it.
All right.
It's not false. It's correct.
Now,
But religion, there I can draw a line. Okay, religion is all faith based.
exactly.
For me, it's a story. Right? I don't believe in it at
I
all.
feel you. Just like
It's
outer
just
space, you know.
nonsense.
I feel you. So look,
Right.
so now in America, where I'm at, right? When it comes to the public education, we call them indoctrination camps for a reason, right? Now, I'm not talking about your education that you get in your country, but it is well known that not only is education nothing but indoctrination camps, the people in charge of education has a clear agenda. They say they do not want a nation of free thinkers. They want a nation of workers. So everything that we learn in the public school system is not give us even think for ourselves. They don't teach us about sacred geometry or vortex math. They don't do that. They don't teach us about stuff like that. They teach us just enough of us to go to work 9 to 5 and just watch. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I feel like we
Okay,
know
so
for a
I
fact
can
that
answer to that.
our government, which is govern, control, mint your mind, they do not, at least in America, they do not have our best interests at heart whatsoever. It's been proven time and time again. That is my only thing. I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying. You might get a whole different education, but here in America, it's pretty blatant. They let us know we don't want a nation of free thinkers.
Yeah.
Don't want you to think about anything that's other than status quo. We want you to just work.
So
Oh,
I'd
and
like
I
to.
do, I do sympathise with what you're saying because I get there is things that obviously governments tell you that I think you should be skeptical of, and I think you should do your own research on. That's always safe, but I mean, like you say, this is something that across all nations they have a consensus on, and that every nation agrees with it. Well, which
So
nation doesn't?
for instance, in Russia, I don't think in Russia they teach that the United States were the first people in space. I think they teach that Russia was the first people in space.
Well, they were the first people in space.
No, I'm saying like we had 2 Russian exchange students right back in middle school, and they were
So,
they were
The
they were told
Russians,
so
that
who was
the
the
Russians
who was
were
the
the first in
so who
space.
was the
It's just
first?
that the Americans were
No,
first
so
to
which
get
was
the
the
moon.
first person in space?
well not
So do you,
it's
do you
not
know
what they say in
the?
America. In America, we think we the first people in space. We won a space war in America.
No, so
No, no,
no,
no.
so the first people on the moon were America, but the first man in space
They
was.
tell us in America we're the first people to be out of space. Period. That's what they tell us.
They shouldn't. Well, that shouldn't be true. That's. I mean,
What I'm
that's
trying to
Yeah,
just
say.
a bad teacher.
I've never
So
heard
that's
that.
what I'm saying.
I'm
So
sure on an exam.
so you think about that concept from the age of 5 and on up, you beat into their head. So I understand why people don't believe, why people believe what they believe. But what I'm trying to say is,
Oh no, that's just an issue with America. I mean, I was educated in
yes,
the UK, and in the UK we were taught it was Yuri Gagarin. He was the first person who
Yeah,
flew.
because
exactly.
I honestly
Yeah.
believe like if I could, I would move to UK. But I think UK is probably like one of the greatest countries in the world, in my opinion. But I'm just giving
Now,
like I'm
Well,
gonna give you
we have a lot of flaws.
no offense, big close, no offense, no offense. But what I'm
So
saying
no, sorry.
is,
Ty, can I just
go ahead.
now? I know that you don't believe in the USA, and genuinely, I don't think that's the school is what you like. What you say,
It's not just school though,
that's
but
not
yeah.
what they said to you. No, but again, now, just because you think that your country's education is indoctrinated
We
or
don't think
fake
they tell us
or not good enough,
it's they tell us
then you
in
can
our
just listen to another country, right? You don't have to move.
no.
Just listen to
But it's not
another
just
country.
it's not just another country. Put it like this, okay. I hate to play this card, but I have to. Gotta be realistic, okay. Okay, so I'm obviously a black man.
Yeah.
I don't know how y'all do it in London. I don't know how y'all do it in United Kingdom or whatever. But cause I really do hate using the race card. I think it's kind of cheap, but at the same time it's kind of relevant, right? There's a thing called the Tuskegee experiment. Y'all heard of that?
The what? Sorry, experiment.
We have an experiment that's just been exposed called Tuskegee experiment.
Oh, I haven't heard of it. No.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give you a very brief synopsis of it. So back in 1940s and whatnot, they were giving black men in America, right? They were purposely giving them STDs like syphilis and whatnot. They were purposely giving us syphilis. They would test some people until they don't have it, tell some people they do have it, and over decades they researched us while letting us normally spread diseases amongst our people, and we didn't find out about it until 1991. But they actually admitted to doing it and actually, admits to do it and had a whole public apology. That in itself, right? We also have a lady called Harriet Washington, where she has documented where when it comes to medicine or any kind of treatment like that within race, the black people get short end of the stick. Now, I'm not using an excuse for we can't prosper or anything like that. I'm just talking about the facts. So we're talking
Yeah.
about government agencies that are quote unquote have our best interests at heart, but our history, the United States history, has also shown that whether you are black or white, it's about the green. Because poor white people and poor black people are treated very, 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 very disrespectfully when it comes to the United States of America.
Are you talking about like
I
racism?
agree.
Not
And I lived.
racism.
Yeah.
It starts with racism,
Right.
but I'm not saying it's the only
That's
thing.
true.
You know what I'm saying?
Genuinely, that is correct.
I
Like-
agree with you, and I lived in America for a year, and I agree. I saw the massive disparity in wealth
Yes.
over a mile. Right? We don't massively have that here in the UK, where you go 200 meters down the road and suddenly the house prices drop by $1 million, like you do in America. And there is other countries on earth where that's the case, and it's very sad. And I agree that we should there's certain distrust to be held towards the government as a result of that, because there is America is unlike in the UK, we do have a very good welfare system. We do have a nationalized health service, which is great, and we have a number of different sort of policies that help those that are struggling within the society. But the thing is here is you can't. I agree that it's good to distrust the government, but it's not, but to distrust scientists, I think, is something totally different.
But our scientists are government agencies. They are funded by the government. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
But-
It's not like I don't know how to do it here, but
Okay, so even if they're funded by the government, it doesn't mean that the government is telling them what to say. Now, I have a scientist friend. I can bring him here. I'll share the life to him. If he comes up, he can tell you about it.
hey, I would
Well,
love to have friends
there's
like
not-
y'all, man. I would love to have friends
there's
like
very-
y'all give a lot of leeway to some BS is going on, because what I'm talking about right now, this actually triggers people that's not even black in the United States. Like,
No,
I understand what
no,
y'all talking about, but to sit here and be like, oh, well, it's not line about everything. No, it's deeper than that. That's what I'm saying. Racism is just the bottom of it. We can talk about 9/11. We can't talk about 9/11, but it's a lot of stuff that
Racism, I
So that's
genuinely agree that racism is a thing because I've been through it. I'm not white, right? I come from, my parents are Persian, and I have received a lot
TCA,
of
hold on,
racism.
talking about TCAS. I'm
A
not playing
lot.
the victim card. I'm not changing the subject. I'm not playing the victim card. If you heard what I said before I said this, so matter of fact, since you said that, let's take out the whole race thing. Let's just talk about wealth distribution. Okay. Once again, there's no middle class in America. First of all, either you're rich or you're poor. Okay. There's no middle class. It's about green. Okay. Why I say this because if you have the money and the means, you can get over just about any disease, any illness. It's a lot of things that come with the wealth distribution in America. And who controls that wealth distribution? It's the government. The government also controls NASA, Department of Defense. That's literally what we have. The Department of Defense in America is literally the government agency over NASA, right? So, like I said, the education is indoctrination. It's all distractions. Like me playing a race card.
Okay.
It's not even
Again.
important, but let me just finish this real quick. Like, for instance, are you playing a race card, right? That will get more attention of me playing a race card within our communities than actually finding out that the government is doing some BS behind our back. If you look on YouTube in the United States, all they're talking about is black and white, cops and this and that. It's about division. So they're talking about why the lie. It's not just about flat earth. It's about a whole lot of things other than that. But I feel like if you catch somebody lying about something and they blatantly lie about it, I'm trying to understand why we keep giving people the benefit of the doubt, because me personally, whether you're family or not, if you lie to me about something, I might forgive you the first time. But you keep doing it time and time again, I'm not going to keep believing what you're saying. And it has been proven time and time again when it comes to NASA, I don't know about your other agencies, it has been proven that NASA is a very, 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 very deceiving
Okay,
space
so
agency. And they don't tell the
let me
truth
just say
about it.
something. So NASA only get about 22.6 billion every year, right? And yes, it's from the NASA. I mean, it's from the government. Yeah, but again, trust me, believe me, the government has nothing to do with what scientists and what NASA says. Believe me. Genuinely, they only get the money.
I need
But
you.
trust, I swear to God,
You can,
they do
but I
not
have. See, this is what I'm
control them.
saying. I'll tell you about first-hand experience. I want what you think. I'm talking about what I know in this country right now in the United States of America, what's going on. The Department of Defense is literally a government agency over the scientific community. It is. It's not no. It's that's what it is. Now, whether they're telling the truth or not, of course we don't know. But for you to sit there and tell me that this and that, no, I'm trying to tell you. The department. Okay, put it like this. Dr. Hasselblad, he put my point. He said the Department of Defense does not oversee NASA. The executive branch does. The executive branch is still government. So Dr. Hasselblad even just made my point. The executive branch is government. What goes on in our books is government issued. There's no debate about it.
But the thing is with that though is, like I said, we've got people here that were educated. I was educated in the UK. There's other people in the chat that I imagine were educated in different countries, and we're all taught the same things. And each government has a different agenda towards, we're taught about different parts of British history here than you probably we're taught about different parts of American history. We're taught about different, but all the physics all around the globe is the exact same thing. So I agree with things when you say, so certain things are, we're probably taught a different version of history. We're taught a different version of politics, a different version of English, the English language, but physics and the sciences generally across
All
the
the
globe
same.
are all the exact same thing.
But see, here's
Right.
the thing though, because even I could probably put videos. There have people have been documented saying even back in the 1920s and 30s, we were learning about flat Earth. This whole notion that flat Earth is an old concept, not in America, it's not. This is something that's very, very prevalent. It has only changed within NASA going to the moon. We talking about before 1958, they were actually genuinely teaching both models, not just flat Earth. They were teaching both models.
Right. Can you show me where you
come
got
on,
that
man.
information? No.
I mean, come on.
No, I don't know if that's really true or
Come
not,
on.
but we've known that the Earth is a globe since like 14
But
something.
this is what I'm trying to tell you. My context is coming from first-hand experience. You're not in
Right.
this country. Like, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, anything I say to you, and
You're saying that you're.
because I want to refute anything that's going on in your country because I'm not there. I'm telling you from a first-hand person who lives in America who doesn't just sit here and
Again,
watch random YouTube videos.
Right.
No.
I'm just asking you if you have like the paper or any evidence that shows that they've been teaching the flat Earth since before
Let me
1958.
ask you a question. Why give the website or whatever? I'm give the website. And when I give the website, you're gonna see why it's on the website. Why it's not public knowledge. Anybody, stoplookthink.com. Please go there. I'm gonna say it one more time. Stoplookthink.com. Now I plugged that little BS website. So look, when it comes to people telling us about the shape of the Earth, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The shape of the Earth does not matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's about the lie. It's deeper than just flat Earth. Let me give you an example. If they tell us that we're on a ball, with Antarctica on the bottom of the ball, and that, hey, you ever seen the Truman Show? Everything's been discovered already. There's nothing else to discover. It says all the time, there's nothing to discover. But they just found but hold up. But they just found 7,000 new islands off Japan. Y'all heard about that?
7,000 new islands?
7,000.
Okay.
Look it up. You can search it right now. So,
Right.
thing is, if we've been so technologically advanced for this long, we're just not finding 7,000 islands. I mean, come on, man. Like, at a certain point in time, we got to start looking at this stuff like, this is just making sense.
So I just searched up that website.
That's what I'm saying. You go to the moon.
Wait, 1 second, that.
Hold
I searched up that Stop Look Thing website, and this is the first thing I see. 1, coronavirus hoax. 2, hoaxes. 3, flat Earth. 4, September 11th, 2001. This is all conspiracy.
Those are all.
This is not facts.
Oh my god! You haven't looked at the videos.
Right, but this is a conspiracy page. I want a real scientific page or like an actual
That's what I'm trying to tell you. See, you know what it's called? It's called Pierce Authority. Just because you didn't see it on Google, just because you can't openly search it, this is what I'm saying. Well, I'm not trying to say that.
I just openly searched it. You say that they block out all the flat Earth
stuff,
but they don't.
Because for one, those videos come with resources and research too. They're not just videos. There are detailed explanations of videos. Some of them are even on YouTube right now, but you can't find them because they're channel banned. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Can I ask
just because you haven't seen information before doesn't mean information not out there. It doesn't mean it's not just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean it can't be true. This is what I'm saying. We're in an age of actually questioning everything. I'm not gonna sit here and pound my hand on the table and say, "Oh, the Earth is flat." I'm not saying that. I am saying it's some questions that need to be answered that hasn't been answered properly. I am saying that we have very valid, very, very valid
thing,
questions that have not been answered.
We do answer them. It's just that you think that it's stupid, and then you
Okay,
brush it off, and then you
let's
just
go.
bring
Let's
it
go.
to
Let's talk
another
about
time.
science. Let's talk about science. The
All
Big
right.
Boom, the Big Bang. You believe in that?
The big boom.
What do you want to call it? It's all BS. You
Just the
actually
Big Boom.
believe in the Big Bang theory that nothing became something.
Yes. The big boom. Yeah.
I mean, the big. Oh, what you
Yeah, I
call it?
believe
It's
that.
all. It sounds all crazy.
It's peer reviewed by science, and they're obviously using a lot of resources to come up with definitive proof of it. But that would make sense. It's that's what I believe. I won't believe anything, but if it's scientists, when they publish these theories, they're peer reviewed. They hold experiments that again prove their thought process, and it all makes a lot of sense. Do you believe in gravity, Ty?
No.
So, but again, gravity works really well because obviously
gravity is 90% dark matter, and gravity is a theory and not an actual proven fact. You know that?
No.
but
Okay.
No, answer the question. Is gravity
fact.
not
I will
a
answer.
theory?
I'm trying to answer right now. Gravity is a scientific theory. So a scientific theory is basically a fact. Now the theory you're thinking of, one second. The theory you're thinking of, scientists use hypothesis. Right?
You just said here
You've heard of that
theory is a
before.
fact. You just said theory is a fact. That's
No.
You just said
I'm
it.
saying that a scientific theory is close to fact.
No, ain't no close. No. It's either fact or it's a theory. It's not no close to, not halfway. Either it's a fact or it's a theory.
Okay, then fact.
You can't say it's
Then
not
scientific
close.
theory is fact.
No, it's not. How are you gonna say
You
that?
have to- okay, you have to
word
search
theory
up.
is the opposite of the word fact.
No.
What are you
Listen,
talking
but
about?
scientists use it differently.
no, it's not. It's not like there's a difference. Fact and theory are not opposite. It's like me saying I theorize that you're. No, it's like me saying I theorize that you're from America. I don't know. I haven't asked you, so I wouldn't know. But if you then told me you're from America, then that becomes fact.
That's crazy.
So it's not opposite.
Okay, Ty, you have to search the
The
definition
word
for
theory
scientific theory
fact
and theory.
cannot coexist in the same sentence. It just can't.
Yes, they
Okay,
can.
listen.
They
Yes,
absolutely
they can.
I theorize that tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have cornflakes for breakfast. That's what I theorize, and I'm probably going to do it. However, if my girlfriend wakes me up with scrambled eggs on toast, I'm going to be really happy. It's you can understand that. You can theorize that I'm from the UK.
Right.
So
So flat earthers are like
Can y'all look at the
true
word theory?
earthers,
Can y'all look at the
whatever.
word theory right now? Because
Yeah, you know what?
Really?
No, can you search it up so the
we
people
got
in the
19
chat can
people here.
see?
Look, we got really. Come on, chat. Come on, comment section.
No. I said, can you search it
You
up
can
so
ask
the
them
people
up
in
to
the chat can see?
I know. See, once again, the burden of proof is on you. You want to say it's no difference.
Ugh,
I'm telling you that it's
alright,
not.
fine. Okay, the definition of a scientific theory.
This is crazy.
What? Scientific theory.
Okay, Robert,
There.
then how am I wrong with saying that a theory is not a fact?
Alright.
It's literally two different.
Okay, listen.
They're antonyms.
I'll read it now. A scientific theory is a well-sustained explanation of some aspect of the natural world, based on a body of facts that have been repeatedly confirmed through observation and experiment.
Flat Earth
Okay.
theory, then.
So now,
So if I say flat Earth theory, that means it's a fact too, then, right? I put theory in front of it.
right, but you're not talking scientific because you're not backing up your points and it's not
I
repeated.
have back to my
Like,
point. I just
you're
told
not
you that there's no
repeating your
curvature.
facts.
We just been doing this the whole time.
I just told you about curvature. Yeah, but your points are kind of dumb, no offense.
How you kind of doing?
You
Okay, so
debunked all of
okay,
them.
let me ask you a question then. Okay, let's talk about lasers, right? Can you talk about lasers?
Yeah.
Can you talk
absolutely.
about this? Okay.
Yep.
So can a laser go through any kind of medium? If you have a laser and two mirrors, if you have something between the laser, could you see the laser? Does the laser go over humps of water and or land to go to the other side? Yes or no?
It doesn't go over. It just goes,
It goes straight through, right? Unless something's blocking it, right? Right? Am I right or wrong? See now,
Alex is
now
right.
I can answer the question because it's very simple.
Alex knows more about this. So I'm not gonna.
So about lasers. So you're saying
my
would it
6-year-old
go?
nephew knows about this. We have a laser and something in front of the laser
Bro.
on a obstructive view. What are you talking about?
Look at
So
Alex.
yeah,
knows the color of it.
so a light source, if you're just trying to laser straight, it wouldn't account for curvature of the Earth. However, radio waves, it depends on obviously the frequency. Because, for example, radio waves, low frequency radio waves follow the curvature of the Earth, whereas high frequency radio waves do not. Ultra high frequency radio waves, we can do not follow the curvature of the Earth. They follow line of sight, which is why radios that aircraft use, low frequency radio waves, can be used all around the globe because they follow the curvature of the Earth, whereas high frequency radio waves go to 1.23 times the square root of the receiver height and height of the aircraft.
I didn't mention weight. You avoiding the whole question.
No. It's the way of looking at it because they're the same. They work in the same principle.
What is the?
They work in the same principles.
It's not the same principle.
It is.
not.
So what speed do lasers travel at?
Can you see? Hold on. Can you see radio waves?
So So what speed? Yes.
Yes or no?
Okay, but I'm talking about the principality of them. The principality of radio waves and lasers are the same because they both travel at the speed of light.
It doesn't. Can you see radio waves? Yes or no?
Can you know because they're not. You can't know. You're right in that regard. So
okay, thank you. So,
but I'm talking about the
lasers,
principles
right?
are the same. Say again?
This is what I'm saying. You can see lasers, right? And you're telling me lasers and radio waves are basically the same. You're trying to say right? You can see.
Well,
lasers.
I'm saying they work on the same principles. They work in the same way because they're both light.
If you can stand miles apart from each other with two mirrors and lasers going between each other, wouldn't that tell you that there's something in between it, right? A very simple question.
Wouldn't it tell me?
A very simple.
So what? Wouldn't it tell me what? So what wouldn't it tell me what?
Oh, put it like this: do you have a laser, a mirror, and had a laser going 14 miles every direction with another mirror, and you see those two laser points? Does that mean it went over a hump, or does it mean that the Earth is flat? It's a very simple question.
I believe that they wouldn't interject at the same point.
So you saying a laser can go over humps of curvature and go to the other side? That's what you're saying?
In fact, someone just proved this exact experiment. They went to who was it? McGlobe that went to the
Barron.
Yeah, so they went to the salt flats and did this exact experiment, and they didn't line up.
How many miles was it away? How many miles was it away between them?
Dr. Hasselblad is in here. I think he knows.
I'm not sure. I think it could be like. I'm not sure.
And the laser were visible from both sides.
The laser it wouldn't interject at the same point. So 6 feet above the ground at one side to 6 feet above the ground, and it was it was higher at the other side of the ground from where he shot
so
it.
How many miles
this guy, his name is Barron.
But how many miles away were the 2 points? Because I'm talking about the curve Earth calculator.
Yeah,
right? So
Barron did this. Barron did this on a TikTok live, and he explained it really well. I wasn't watching it because I couldn't be bothered. It took so long. But he did this on TikTok live, and there are a lot of people watching it. And I'm pretty sure he also recorded it, and he put it on his actual page. Now you can check it out there. He told you the exact measurements, told you everything. Josh is in here, or Dr. Hasselblad. I think he knows a lot about this because he was there.
So you telling me? Without even looking at the time, this is a question that don't even. This is a simple question. Do lasers go over humps of curvature to get to the other side? Or it's just no question.
It doesn't.
So if there's something in between the laser, at some point it'd be obstructed, right? Yes or no?
If something blocks the laser, yeah.
Like curvature?
Oh, the curvature. No, listen. It just goes on, right? If you're pointing the laser,
okay, then so if you have feet and or miles of curvature between two laser points, and you see it, what does that tell you?
Say that again.
If you have a laser shining on one reflected surface, and they're supposed to be quote unquote hundreds, if not thousands, of feet of curvature between the next point, and you see the other point, what does that tell you?
Well, you won't. That's the thing.
Exactly. You just proved my point.
Right, but you won't.
Next question.
Bruh.
Okay. Could you show us a map that you would believe in?
The map?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll put it back up.
Yeah,
so I can just show you how any flat map wouldn't work if you're happy. If you're happy to entertain me for 5 minutes.
No problem. Well, y'all guys are crazy, man. Let's see. This is fun though, man. I wish I had some back on my flat earthers, man, because I'm not representing flat earth very well right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. I understand what everybody saying stuff in the comment section. I'm not.
No, of course. The thing is, obviously, in my job as an airline pilot, we have to use a globe map in order to navigate around the globe. That's how aircraft work. We can navigate very accurately using globes. The reason we use nautical miles and not statute miles is because it takes into account the curvature of the Earth. So when you hear people talking about nautical miles, or even you hear about boats traveling at knots, that's because they're traveling at nautical miles per hour. Which is why there's 60 nautical miles per degree of longitude, which is why you get at the equator, which is why you get, which is why you hear where as opposed to 69 statute miles.
Man, Robert, didn't you funny, dog? You funny, dog. Dusty graphics.
I know, you know. Oh yeah,
But see, this is my thing. Like, okay, because I can point y'all to the video, but I know y'all wouldn't watch them. Like, I can point to videos that are on YouTube right now. You can't find even if you type the titles in there, and you will see why they are shadow banned, because we have irrefutable evidence that the Earth is not spin and it's no curvature. It's just not. It's just not.
But I have so respond to my irrefutable evidence then that it does, i.e., flight paths. Flight paths follow a constant curve. Flight paths around the globe are curved.
What about spinning the Earth?
Second, spin of the Earth. Well, we're part of it. We are part of the atmosphere.
Has there been an experiment that has proved the spin of the Earth?
Well, we can see star trails.
No, has
so,
it been
I would say that.
Of course, y'all scientific theory and experiments. Has been a scientific theory experiment has been done
One,
to prove that the Earth moves.
star trails. 2, gyroscope, which is an instrument.
No, you're not understanding what I'm trying to say. Because there's authority over everything y'all believe. Why do y'all believe that? Don't give me gyroscopes.
Well, gyroscopes. I use gyroscopes every day, and gyroscopes.
It doesn't prove that the Earth is moving.
It does, because gyroscopes have 15 degrees of drift an hour that is unaccounted for. So whether the aircraft's moving or not, the gyroscope drifts 15 degrees because the gyroscope is set in space, and because the Earth rotates at 15 degrees per hour, that is unaccounted for. The first thing we do when we set up a gyroscope on an aircraft before each flight is put the longitude and latitude in so that it can calculate the drift of the Earth.
Okay, so you saying that, and with Robert Denny in mind, which says horizon and dip of the ships. So when you see a boat go over the horizon and you bring it back, what's that?
It hasn't gone over the horizon yet. I know what video you're talking about.
I'm saying, but if you if you actually go out to the beach and you see a boat go over the horizon, whatever beach you on, and you can just take something and zoom in and see it again, what does that mean?
Right, but that's just because the pixels there. I mean, like, listen, it's far away, so the camera cannot catch it well. But technically, kind of. But if it's truly like that, then I would like to see a video of a boat going past whatever our line of sight. I guess
I have about 5 of those on my channel. I showed those.
Right. But the ones that I've seen is that they zoom out and then they zoom back in. That's not proving the flat Earth.
I've seen where it starts, where it's zoomed in. It's already zoomed out, then it goes in. No.
Okay, I want to see it zoomed in and then literally disappear.
No, you saying so you say you want to see a video where it's already zoomed in and then you
bring
it back out.
I don't even want to see it. Yeah, I do not want to see it zoom out. I want to see it zoomed in.
No, I'm just trying to make sure I get it right. So you want to see a video where it's already zoomed in on the boat, and then you want to see it zoom back out and show it disappearing? That's what you're saying?
No.
The opposite.
I do not want to see it zoom back out. I want to see. What I'm saying is, what I want to see is a video of a boat that stayed zoomed in, going past our line of sight. Do not even zoom back out. Because the video you're talking about, he zooms back out and then zooms back in.
So proving you that, of course he does, because he proves you how far away he is. If you don't zoom back out, then you will never know the point we see zooming from. That doesn't make any sense.
No, but they haven't gone over the curvature yet. Now, the camera, I don't know how to explain it. I know Josh and JT, they all explained this before.
The P900 has debunked the curvature already. Just get a P900, dog. Because all you gotta do is just.
I can't explain it as well as Josh or Tyler or whatever.
It can't be explained.
Alex, do you know the zoom back out and the zoom back in video? The boat.
I think he's muted.
Alex,
I don't know why, but
you're muted.
But damn, it's bad. Damn, that gonna work, man.
Okay.
Damn, man.
I know that globe.
I was talking. I was talking away there with the microphone on. So I've always understood that to be curvature. I've seen, obviously, when I'm flying, I see the top of a mountain before I see the bottom of a mountain. Which again makes a lot of sense. and that's how I've kind of understood that. There is obviously areas of refraction. There's differing sort of the air pressure is obviously greater at the horizon and it decreases as we go up. So that obviously can also affect saying that. But Josh is in the box. He'll happily explain.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't know how to explain it. I know that it's been debunked and a lot of people have done it, but I genuinely forgot how to explain it.
Let's see. Man, I'm telling you, man, y'all with my ass on this shit, man. Y'all with my ass right now.
You can have a discussion.
I'm like, what the hell they
man.
guys talking about right now? I know I'm all over the place, man. I'm more passionate about it. I do need to calm down with it, cause it's just like, it's just my passion just to question stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying I know everything, but it's just my passion just to.
Of course, and I agree with what you say about certain things. Like you're correct to be skeptical about certain things. You know, like there's always good reasons to be.
But I just always wonder why the flat Earth is so triggering to people. I feel like if people,
It's not triggering.
it is.
The thing is
it's
it's
triggering. Like I can tell you right now, man. Look, I don't know what it is about flat Earth, man, but it brings out just wow. You would think somebody.
I don't think
There's two different things that could happen, right? First thing is that when people like first see this, they're like, "Dude, come on, this is really easy stuff. They should know this is really dumb." And while they're explaining it, they'll throw a few insults. Now that's one type. Second type is that because they've repeated it so many times, and they keep saying, "No, not this. How about this? How about that?" Then they start getting angry, as anyone should.
No, but
That's why people get aggressive.
But here's my thing: I'm trying to add you in, Dr. Hasselbrad. But like okay, so put it like this: let's say you are not y'all are actually articulating everything well. But I feel like if you come in my comment section, you come in saying, "Oh, this guy's stupid as hell. Everybody knows this that." Well, if it's so stupid, why you take time out your day to insult a flat earther if we're so idiotic? That's my only thing. Like, come on, it's triggering for a reason.
I guess it's more. Well, no, I guess it's more curiosity than anything because you're an interesting guy to speak to. You've got interesting points of view. If someone stopped me on the street and said that they've seen a unicorn before, I'd stop and speak to them and try and work out what they want to say. Like, I'm not being rude, but
I would believe him though. If somebody told me, I would believe him. I really would.
See, but that's the thing. So can you understand that? So if I told you that I have a Ferrari in the driveway, would you just believe me?
But I could also make a discrepancy between belief and knowledge. I wouldn't say I would know. I just say I would believe. It's easy to believe. Believe me, you can believe something, just go about your day. We don't try to find out facts. That's when you gotta, scientific theory stuff like that. So you tell me if I think you're a good, sane person, I believe. You say you saw a unicorn. Hey, you saw a unicorn.
And you've got a lot of questions, and we have a lot of answers. Like you've. Well, you do though because you asked questions about flying earlier, and I managed to answer them all.
Yeah, but see, so before you came on, I was asking McGloser before you came on. I said if I could find more reputable pilots that says the opposite, are they wrong because you said one thing? And I also posed a question about
the thing is, you wouldn't. I have never in my career met a pilot that believes the Earth's flat.
Like I said, if my computer wasn't so stoned,
neither have I.
Because I got the video, right?
And I've never known a pilot that thinks the Earth's flat.
Neither have I. Then I worked.
And if you speak to a pilot, they will all tell you that they've never met anyone that believes the Earth's flat.
Right. I've spoken to more than 20 pilots, and
so, with that being said, my very you don't mind if I tag y'all on video, right? My very next video I'm gonna tag you with it, and we're gonna show you about the other pilots who said that it was flat. But
you can crack on. Cool.
What's that?
I was trying to add in Dr. Hasselbrad, but it's not letting me add him in.
I'm here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So
can you hear me? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is funny, man. It's funny. So if somebody said, "What would prove a globe for you?" Just to be honestly, what would prove it for me? This is my thing. Let's say you're on the ISS, right, and doing the spacewalks. This is all I need. This is all Top B trolling needs, y'all. Just take that camera and pan it at 180 degrees and show what's behind there. If they never do it, they never do it.
They have, but what about seeing astronauts on the ISS doing a spacewalk from Earth, doing it the other way?
What you mean, like?
Because that's been done.
Hold on, I don't understand that. Say it again.
So there's a photographer named Sebastian Voltimer that took photos of the ISS and got two astronauts on the outside in his photo doing a spacewalk. You can clearly see them.
Clear picture.
And during the live feed, they were actually like it all matched up.
Man, he caught that going 17,500 miles an hour. That's pretty impressive. Look, what I'm trying to say is, you not understand what I'm saying.
I mean,
just turn the camera, just pan the camera around. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
So the they do that.
They don't.
Now the cameras that they have on them are extreme wide angles because the cameras that they have on them, they're using the mission control is using those cameras to see what the astronauts are doing and to walk them through their procedures to make sure everything is being done correctly while they're on their spacewalk. So if they turn around, you're going to have distortion from that camera. But they do have cameras inside the ISS, handheld cameras. I believe they're still using Nikons because that's who the government partners with Nikon went to the government and said, "Hey, we want to give you cameras at a discount," and the government said, "Okay." So even the military still uses Nikons. But they do have cameras that they use to take those pictures, and then the individual astronauts will put together books of the photos they took.
Okay. So that's another question. You just question I always had, just off the top of my head. So how can I put this? So space is a vacuum, right? We can all agree with that.
Yes.
Is the vacuum of space comparable to underwater?
No.
So why do they practice underwater before they go to space?
Do you want them to practice on land?
No, you don't understand what I'm saying.
Because they just want to be neutrally buoyant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're trying to get as close as possible to microgravity as they can.
Yeah, they have to train, you know what I mean?
But they're not in the water going 17,500 miles per hour on the ISS, are they?
So on the ISS going 17,000 miles per hour, it would feel like you're standing still because you're traveling at the same velocity. Just like when you're.
But how would you simulate that underwater?
Why would you have to simulate? So do you have to train if you're going to take a flight? Do you have to practice how to walk down the aisle to go to the bathroom before you get on the flight?
I don't understand what I'm saying.
Yes, it does.
It does.
It's very similar.
No, it's not similar.
It's literally the exact same thing.
This is what I'm saying. If space is a vacuum, which we all agree, space is not the same environment pressure-wise as the ocean or in the water. Can we agree with that?
Correct.
So
True,
why do you have to practice in the environment you're not even used to yet when you go up there?
It's the closest thing they can get to being in a vacuum. No,
it's less about the vacuum and more about the buoyancy.
Buoyancy, that's the interesting word.
Yeah, so neutrally buoyant.
You know, nautical term, actually not means nautical. That's the nautical term.
But let me tell you something about buoyancy. If you believe in buoyancy, you have to believe in gravity.
Gravity is 96% dark matter.
Huh?
Yeah, go look it up.
What the fuck?
It's 96% dark matter.
Is that true, Josh?
You look it up. Google, go ahead. I'm very confident. Yes.
What are we looking up? I was talking to my wife.
Gravity is 96% dark matter.
No. Dark matter hasn't been proven.
So is he a liar?
No, dark matter hasn't been proven to exist. It's a hypothesis.
But the high priest of scientism, Neil deGrasse Tyson, said it's 96% dark matter. Hold up, it's on my page.
Can you show me that video?
He said it. It's on my page. My page said it twice.
Yeah, he's probably saying if dark matter exists, then
he actually said
because no one knows.
Nobody knows what gravity is. 96% dark matter. He actually said that.
No, we know where gravity comes from. We don't know why things with mass have gravity. It's a different thing. But if dark matter exists, then it has more mass than everything in the universe because there's more dark matter than everything else. Ergo, it should have, if it's matter, it should have gravity. But dark matter has not been proven to exist yet.
No.
It's a hypothesis that is likely true, but there's no concrete evidence for it yet.
Exactly.
I'm just saying that's what he said. I'm just, he's the one that said the Earth is pear-shaped and all the other crazy stuff. I'm just going by because he's
Well, It's
Everybody
not
believes
pear
Tyson.
shaped.
You know, I'm just saying.
It's again when he says that he means like it's a slightly wider at the equator, but it's definitely not even close to a pear.
He
Definitely
said
not.
he literally said it's
It's a
pear
dumb.
shaped. He didn't say light. He said it's pear shaped. He didn't say it's like a pear. He said it's pear shaped.
He said kinda,
No, it's
if
on
I'm
my
not
video.
wrong.
He said it
But he didn't
is.
say that it was pear. If it was pear shaped, everyone would know, and everything would be so different. But trust me, it's not. When he says pear shaped, he means that the equator is, I think, 23 miles wider. If I'm not wrong, Josh.
You know what? I'm glad that you're here, Doctor, because I'm gonna ask you a question. Were you here earlier while I was talking about the astronauts and the stars?
Yeah.
So you heard what I was saying about that, right?
Yeah,
So what's your take
I
on it?
actually answered that. Yeah. So, like I said, when they go around the dark side of the moon, they can see more, which is why they would have different experiences because one of them was going around the dark side of the moon constantly and the other ones weren't.
But also, I knew you answered both talking about people who know. There's more people here now. I'm just saying that. But I also told you that the question is based upon the travel, not necessarily but we are traveling through space at any point in time. Traveling through space at any point in time, one group of astronauts didn't see the stars, the others saw everything. How can you justify that?
Give me a second.
And all y'all go Earthers that's in the comment section, y'all answer that too. Answer that question, y'all. Robert, all your other people, how come on now. How y'all justify that? Justify one group of astronauts saying they seen no stars, and the other group of astronauts saying they seen everything through the same space. I want y'all to just think about it. Like I said, look, one thing about flat earthers, we don't know everything. The problem with gold earthers is they think that people already figured it out already. That's the only problem I have with gold earthers.
Yeah.
It's called appeal.
Well, no, whether or not someone saw stars, there's other ways we can prove these things.
But see, this is the thing though. If the inverse square law of light, which you all know what it is, right? The inverse square law of light, the formula dictates that the lights will get brighter the closer you get to them. So is the moon not closer to the stars than us on Earth? Yes or no?
The moon is closer.
No, I'm saying, so the moon is significantly closer to the stars than we are on Earth, right? Mm-hmm. But the inverse square law of light dictates it should be blinding. It should be blinding at those distances.
No.
Why not?
No, because the moon is reflected.
No.
So
that's what I'm saying. What's the inverse square law of light goes any kind of light? You talking about the moon, the stars?
Right. So
about all of it. If you get close
right.
to a light, does it get weaker? No. You get close to a light, it gets brighter. So y'all telling me?
So it's the same thing as if you have a white wall, okay, and you stand far enough away from that wall,
right,
and the sun is shining directly on it, you're going to be receiving all of the light that wall has to give.
Okay.
As you get closer to that wall, and now you're standing a foot away from it, it's not going to be brighter because only part of the light that is reflecting off of the wall is reaching your eyes. If that wall is 20 feet wide and you're 1 foot away from it, the light to your left and right can't hit your eye.
That's only if you're approaching an object that's reflecting light. The stars are their own lights. So once again, when you get closer to a light,
right.
we talk about the source. When you get closer to the light source, it gets brighter. Yes or no?
How about the sun that is right above you in the flat Earth model? Shouldn't we get blinded?
So you telling me you get close to a source, you get close to a light source, it gets dimmer? Is that y'all trying to tell me? Please don't.
But you're talking about astronomical distances, like the
no.
I think.
No. But the inverse square law of light is not. No.
Right.
You can't. No.
So, but you're not even getting 1% closer to those stars if you go to the moon.
So if you're not getting 1% closer to the stars, go to the moon. Well, in that case, then why we can't see the stars? Then in your case, then we shouldn't see them at all.
You can see stars if you're on the dark side of the moon.
The astronauts said they seen the stars.
Yes, they did.
Some of them they did.
How?
If you're in an area that doesn't have any light pollution, in this case from the sun, like if your entire goal is to go out into space and see stars, you're going to face away from the sun and be on the dark side of the moon. Because those are the two biggest light, and not look at the Earth. If you look back towards the Earth and it's not nighttime, you're not going to see stars, because all of a sudden your eye has to adjust to the brightest light in the area. And those three objects would be the brightest things in the area. If you just like on Earth, like if you take a picture of the moon with your phone, you want to take a picture that shows the craters, you won't see any stars because it's too bright. Because the camera has to work the same way your eye does.
But the inverse square law of light dictates when you get close to a light source, it gets brighter.
Right. So if you're in your living room, let's think of it this way.
Okay.
Because this would be like an equivalent.
Okay.
Let's say you're in your living room and your living room is 10 feet by 10 feet. And you're at the far wall and at the opposite wall, so you're 10 feet away from the light.
Right.
And you move half an inch closer. Literally just step half an inch. Does the light get brighter?
What half an inch? What, going northern or going, like, what you mean? Am I still keeping my same
Directly towards the light.
Up?
No, half an inch closer to the light source.
Yes, it would. Of course.
Wherever the light source is, you move half.
Yes.
So it's going to be drastically brighter that you can tell if you move half an inch closer to a light bulb in your room.
I'm doing it right now, and there's really no difference.
Okay, so I'm asking a question then. So
Yeah.
when you see a light source in the living room, when you get 5 feet from it, wouldn't it be right?
Right, but that's the thing. Going from Earth to the moon is equivalent to moving half an inch closer to the light source in your 10-foot room.
We can agree on that, but
So they're not going to be brighter.
But okay, but it wouldn't make them disappear. It wouldn't be able to not see them. You can't have it both ways.
If you're looking at the moon,
you can't have it both ways.
So why is it to see? Have you ever seen the Milky Way, like with your own two eyes in real life?
I don't think that the Milky Way is what they tell it is, but yeah, I've seen it.
No, there are places on Earth you can go to see the Milky Way. You can see millions of stars.
Exist, but I'm trying to tell you that it's not distant. They tell us it's from.
So why are there only certain places? Like if you live in a city, let's say you live in New York City.
Right.
At night when you look up into the sky, you see very few stars. But if you then on the same night fly out to New Mexico or Arizona,
right,
where there are places that are out in the desert, there's zero light pollution, and you look up, you see millions of stars. Why is that?
What you mean? Because
why is it different for New York than it is for Arizona?
Of course, the atmospheric density. Of course, the lights, street lights.
No, it's simply light pollution.
That's what atmospheric.
So if
atmospheric density is light pollution, just a scientific way of saying it.
No.
It's how dense
No,
the
atmospheric density isn't light pollution. Like
No.
if everyone on Earth,
atmospheric density is anything that's making what we're looking at not as bright as it's supposed to be. That's what it is. Well, it's gonna be
light pollution.
Don't tell me it's not what it is. Cause
no, because even without atmosphere, if light is entering your eye is going to automatically adjust to that. Which is why on the moon, the astronauts didn't, like, if they were literally on the moon, they're not seeing stars from that vantage point because it's too bright for them. It's the same reason stars aren't out in the day. It doesn't have anything to do with the atmosphere. Now, seeing the stars clearly with no atmospheric distortion, yes, I agree. But the density of the atmosphere, like on a clear night, the density of the atmosphere isn't going to play a huge role in whether or not you're able to see stars.
I'm not arguing that. I'm agreeing with you because
but it's light pollution.
Yeah.
But okay,
plain and simple light pollution.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't outer space past all that light pollution? What you're saying makes sense.
No, what I'm saying is the light pollution in space comes from objects like the sun or the earth or the moon. If you move beyond those bright objects, now your eyes can that's why telescopes like JWST are 1 million miles away, because they want to be as sensitive as they can be to see deeper into space. If the closer they are to a different light source, the less they're going to see.
Right. So,
So
for example, um, I went to the deserts of Iran, right, and there's barely any light pollution there. I looked up to the sky. It was a night sky. It's actually beautiful. I saw so many things. I saw so many stars. The Milky Way. I saw that. I saw so many beautiful things that I've never seen here in Stockholm because
I agree.
of light pollution. Right? It's the same on the moon. Like for example, on the daytime side of the moon, your eyes won't adjust, so you won't be able to see that many stars. But India last week they went to the South Pole, which is the dark side. Now, Josh, I actually don't know. Is there any can you see their journey, or there any pictures or any videos?
Journey of the Apollo astronauts.
No, 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 no. The Indians. They went last week to the South Pole.
I don't know.
But
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with you about seeing the stars from a terrestrial point of view. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I 100% agree with what you're saying. I'm saying
Okay.
the inverse square law of light. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that you trying to tell me these people said at no point of time, at no point in time they see any stars, but other people did see stars. That's a red flag. Why is it not a red flag for you?
Why is that a red flag? If there's ways that we can prove, yes, we went to the moon, yes, we know the distance to the moon even before we went there, yes, the Earth is a globe, and we can all do that. We can do that from Earth without leaving Earth. Why is the recollection of somebody seeing something or not seeing something evidence of something?
Because
Because, like,
they're describing things in the same exact environment. They said nothing
right,
about
right, but just like,
they said nothing about we was on this side of the moon and those. No, they said they didn't see them.
yeah.
They said they didn't
So,
see
so,
them, man.
so, Ty, we both live in the U.S. We've seen high profile cases and stuff. What type of witness testimony is the worst type of witness testimony according to lawyers and judges and all of that kind of stuff?
The ones that are bribed, if you ask me.
I eyewitness
Oh
testimony,
yeah,
right?
of course.
Because yeah. Because like if you and I watch an event and then somebody comes over to us weeks later and says, "Hey, describe the event." We might both have generally the same story, but you're going to remember things differently than I did. You might remember the color of the shirt the person was wearing, and I might be, I have no idea. I don't remember.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, people remember things differently. And all of these interviews, like the interview that you're talking about, took place over a month after the landings. And the astronauts that went up there, they're not going up there and like focusing on the stars. They're going up there and focusing on the moon. There was a lot of stuff going on in between point A and point B. One guy might, the guy flying around the moon might have been like, I'm bored, I got nothing to do, I'm in this ship by myself for... Well, no, the guy going around the moon. So there's 3 astronauts, 2 go down to the surface, 1 stays in the command module. So that guy in the command module is by himself from the time they leave till the time they get back. So yeah, he's probably taking care of some things and chatting with mission control, but he's not really doing much. So he can, hey, I wonder what happens if I look out the window towards Mars on the dark side of the moon or whatever. So he might that might be his best recollection, like the thing that stands out in his mind. The guys that are on the moon are going to remember a completely different set of circumstances because they didn't get bored. They weren't looking at the stars. They were looking at the moon. So, like, I don't think somebody remembering things 2 different ways when they were doing 2 different things isn't a proof of anything. Like, there's other ways we can either prove or disprove them going to the moon. There's other ways we can either prove or disprove the shape of the Earth. And it has nothing to do with astronauts
I
seeing
agree.
stars or not seeing
I
stars.
wholeheartedly agree. See, but what I'm trying to say is it's not just it's kind of a crumbs, like little crumbs of evidence. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that that's the end all be all. Oh, they said this, it means line. It's just little crumbs of evidence. For instance, this whole fuss about lower Earth orbit, right? They're actually telling us that we've never been past lower Earth orbit. But last time I checked, the moon is past lower Earth orbit. They're saying that
No,
no human.
we haven't been. If you watch that video, we haven't been past low Earth orbit since
No,
1972
no, no, no.
because we
The
didn't
video
have
said
a
it never.
vehicle that was
No, the video
capable of doing.
said. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be so rude. But they said that
They didn't say. Yeah.
they
They didn't say never.
Wait, I'm listening.
Yeah, no, they didn't. They didn't say never. They say they start out by saying, and you're listening to Don Petit, who's a former astronaut who is giving an interview, and he says things like, "Oh, I would go back to the moon in a heartbeat,
Yeah, that's a bad
but we
sound
lost
bite.
the technology to do
They
that,
take over
and
it. They
it's
take
a
over
hard
it. Is what they
process
said.
to build
They
it
take
back."
over it.
What's that?
They said they take over the moon landing footage.
No, no, not the footage.
No, I'm
What
saying
they
no. I
lost
understand what you're
was
saying about telemetry, but they also said if they take the moon landing footage too as well. They also said that as well.
no, all the footage exists from every single
Okay,
mission.
so
Over 24,000
if
individual photos
okay, so let's take this aside.
still
So let's talk
exist.
about the telemetry data. So, would it be harder to go to Mars or to the moon?
It's obviously
I-
harder to go to Mars, but
But
honestly, going to the moon is
but we go
really
to Mars
easy.
with no problem.
No.
We
It
have
is a
no problem
problem.
going to
I mean,
Mars.
it's not hard. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not hard.
But isn't
Right?
it further than going to the moon?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the
you
problem
can
is
conquer
is
going.
oxygen.
So you
The
tell me
main problem is just
they
keeping
had a
food and
so
oxygen
they had
because it's a long
telemetry.
journey.
So they had a telemetry to go distance farther than the moon, but they had a telemetry to go to the
The-
moon.
Ty, to be clear, they have all of the telemetry data from Apollo except for Apollo 11.
But that's not what I'm.
They only lost telemetry data for one mission. And the telemetry data is relatively boring, and there's other ways of gathering that information from other information that they still had. They had a specific type of tape that recorded the telemetry data.
Right.
So, but there's other, just like a black box on an airplane. Like if an airplane crashes, the first thing they look for is the black box. But if they can't get the black box, they still have other ways of knowing what was going on with the aircraft. They have radar, they have radio transmissions, and all of that stuff. They can piece together the flight and what was going on with that flight without having the black box. Same thing with the telemetry data from Apollo 11. Plus, we have 6 other moon landings that have all the telemetry data, and well, there was no reason to go back. They were concentrating on other things.
It's a reason to go to Mars, not to the moon.
So after no, listen to me. After the Apollo missions, which got discontinued, they run out like they didn't get the budget to, go back for the 17 and 18. After that, there was really no reason to go to the moon until recently, where we want to go to Mars, right? Expand our society. So because we're going to Mars, we're going to the moon because we're sending equipment to the moon, and if I'm not wrong, from there we're gonna go to Mars. If I'm not wrong, Josh might correct me.
Yeah. So the idea, the hope of Artemis is that we can use the moon as a gas station on our long road trip to Mars.
Right.
If they're able to find things, like we know that there is frozen water on the moon. Now, is there a way for us to harvest that frozen water in a way that's usable to astronauts or to the mission? We also know there's helium-3 on the moon. Is there a way to harvest that in a way that is usable for us so we don't have to launch with all of our stuff? Think of it, if you're going to drive across the US and you don't have to pack your car full of everything you're going to use less gas, and you just stop and get what you need along the way, then you use less gas getting to your final destination and you save some money. It's the same thing with what Artemis is trying to do, because we knew that if we wanted to go deeper into space, we had to figure out how to live longer in space. That's
Right.
what the shuttle missions and the ISS was. Now we know how to live in space for a year or so. So if we want to go to Mars, that trip alone from Earth to Mars is going to be a couple of months just getting there. Then we have to land, then we have to get back.
Yeah.
So how do we do that without people sacrificing their lives to do so? And how do we do it in the most economical way possible? That's why they're going back to the moon.
Right. So that's the purpose of Artemis 1, which happened last year in November, and Artemis 2, which is happening Artemis 2, which
2024 is
happened,
the schedule.
yeah, 2024. And then Artemis 3, 2025, and then Artemis 4, 2028. So we have a lot of, missions coming up. Some interesting ones.
And there's multiple agencies just for the SLS. I think there's 3 agencies, in 3 or 4. But then SpaceX is building the rocket that will take the lander and the lander itself to the moon. So with Artemis, there's going to be 2 different vehicles, which is completely different from Apollo. So the SLS will take up the astronauts, and SpaceX will launch what was that? The silver rocket that's made out of stainless steel that they blew up because they lost control of it. Star something. I forget. But SpaceX is going to launch a completely separate mission, and they're going to meet up in orbit around the
They just
moon.
launched one yesterday.
Oh yeah, SpaceX launches all the time. Actually, they are supposed to launch today too. I live in Florida. They launch almost once a week.
Yeah, they launch a lot.
Okay, so
Most of them are Falcon 9s with satellites and have nothing to do with human flight. But rockets go up all the time.
here's my problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand about we trying to research and try to find out how to live on the moon and Mars, but a real serious question: are the problems we have on Earth right now more important than what's going on in outer space?
We can walk and chew gum at the same time. NASA receives very, like, if you want to, here's my argument for all of that political stuff.
Right.
If you want to say we should divert money to take care of social problems in the U.S., look to the DoD. The DoD gets more money than any place else in our budget.
Yeah.
NASA gets less than half of a percent of the budget for the entire federal government.
Right.
So
DoD,
we can
right,
walk
yeah.
and chew gum. If you got rid of NASA, the problems would still exist, and likely nothing would be done because there's no political
I
will
agree.
to do anything with those
I agree.
problems. I would also argue that looking into space is highly important for the good of humanity. The way things are changing on Earth, we're likely to destroy our environment on Earth before humans die out. So what happens? What happens if people can't live here anymore? But even with the ISS, they're studying diseases. Like they're looking into what happens with cancer cells in microgravity. Is there something that can be done to affect those cells in a different way? And they do a lot of environmental experiments and all of that stuff. So they're not just up there floating around saying, "Woohoo, this is fun."
I don't believe
Like
that
they're
at all. I believe.
they're
Because what you were saying about, if NASA didn't exist, the process, you're right. Because I believe that didn't exist, it would be another distraction. What I'm saying, this is all I'm trying to say, right? Because I'm not making myself look good at all right now. But what I'm trying to say is, we're talking about the military industrial complex, right? The DoD. you probably stay in America. Americans treat our veterans not very like they're not very kind to our veterans. Would you agree with that? I don't think Americans care about our veterans like that, in my opinion, when it comes to military, right? It's the biggest. We got the biggest military industrial complex, right? And when it's talking about going to the moon and going to Mars and trying to deflect asteroids, and I mean, come on, man, like there are way, way, way more things we can do tangibly on Earth to help save Earth itself. This is my problem with
We're
it
doing both.
because it seems like you could tear down. You can go to Amazon. You could tear down the Amazon jungle. You just can't go over Antarctica because of the penguins. You can terrorize these other countries. You can nuclear bombs, this and that and third. My thing is people just not asking the right questions and accepting answers from the people that lie to us, basically. Because like I said, when it comes to government, I'm gonna say this again: govern, mind, mental control. I know I know the UK does something different. I know the Netherlands does something different, right? But I'm
playing with words doesn't prove
no,
anything.
let's not playing with words because we actually have something called a Smith-Munn Act. We won't get too deep into it, which means that they can tell us fake news stories and not tell us that it's fake. They can do that in America. They can do that. They can make a fake news story.
So how do you know if a news story is fake?
That's the whole point. All the world's the same.
No. So you find out about fake news stories, right?
I mean, put it like this.
You
when I say
find out
news
if
stories, I mean, like, for instance, okay, the agenda that goes on. Let's say, for instance, you know how you're talking about some old cops hate black people. I don't believe that at all, man. I don't believe that. But it's people in America who see stuff on TV and think that the cops are evil, which they're not. We need the cops. It's just stuff like that. Like, it's a little propaganda.
well,
stuff.
there's bad people in every
There's
profession.
bad people, but
Exactly.
I'm talking about from the perspective of an American citizen who has to rely on certain things to get information from people.
Yeah, that's a completely different story.
It's not a different story because it's not
as a journalist,
right?
what I'll tell you is that journalists are not out there lying, and we see
Mainstream
like
journalists.
when we what's that?
Mainstream journalists.
No, I'm a mainstream journalist. The last shoot I did was for the Wall Street Journal. Before that, the New York Times.
But not every
Before
subject
that,
is
the
fake.
Washington Post.
No. Not every subject is okay. Put it like this. Let me make sure I read out. So let's say like you work for NASA, right? And you actually believe the things you do for NASA is actually real. There are things called compartmentalization.
Josh,
But guess what?
Everybody just had to be on
Josh.
Everybody,
Josh, tell them about the project you had with NASA and the interview.
Yeah, that's
you
what I
had
was
with
just
that one guy.
about to do. So, as a mainstream journalist
Right.
working for the New York Times, I went to Kennedy Space Center and photographed them making a satellite called TESS, and then I went back on my own and watched them launch it.
right? I'm not disputing
So, like, these things actually happen, and you can actually go in some instances and see them. There's a guy on TikTok named Johnny Astronomy who is an astrophysicist who works for NASA in DC. He works for Goddard, and if you are friends with him, he can take you in and take you to the viewing area of the clean room where they're literally currently building the next James Webb telescope. It's not called James Webb. It's named after a woman that's going to view the sky differently. And you can watch them build it with your own two eyes. And then you can go and watch them launch it. And so on and so forth. Like, this is...
we watch lunches on TV all the time.
Well, yeah, but you can watch it with your own two eyes
That doesn't
and
mean-
see if what.
But don't you always see a curve and go into the ocean? Does it not? You don't go. You going straight up.
No, where? So where is it going in the ocean?
I suspect the Bermuda Triangle. That's just me.
Ah, so here's the thing. Here's the thing.
I'm not saying nowhere.
What landmarks? What landmarks? There. So a triangle has 3 points on it. What are the 3 points of the Bermuda Triangle? Do you know?
I don't.
So one is Bermuda, obviously, hence the name.
Okay.
The other one is Puerto Rico. The third one is Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Guess where I live?
Right.
I live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
I
can watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not saying that you're not seeing what you're seeing. I'm not. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not
No, no.
disagreeing
So,
with what
but
you're
here's the
saying.
thing. Here's the key part. I can prove they're not landing in the Bermuda Triangle because the rockets head away from me. They don't get closer to me because when I watch the rockets launch, I'm watching them from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is right around 200-ish miles away. Let's say somewhere between 150 and 200 miles because I'm not looking at a map.
Right.
Takes about 2.5, 3 hours for me to get there on the highway.
Right.
So we can see these things from very far away. And if you're standing in Bermuda, if the rockets were coming down in between Fort Lauderdale and Bermuda, people in Bermuda would have video of these things coming down into the ocean, streaking out of the sky. So we definitely know it's not the Bermuda Triangle.
Well, let me count that.
But we also know
Go ahead.
we also know that orbital mechanics would require you to fly in an arc, because if you're gonna go in a circle, you wouldn't go straight up and then make a left. You're gonna lose all of that momentum. It's much easier to start curving early on and maintain your momentum as you get out of our atmosphere. And they only separate stages on a rocket once they have left our atmosphere. And I can watch with my own two eyes. I can watch the separation happen from almost 200 miles away. It doesn't take very long for them to be over the Kármán line. Like these things are traveling at the speed of sound and faster. So to make 62 miles when you're traveling several thousand miles per hour at their peak, it doesn't take long for them to get there.
Okay.
So when you see that arc, it's only like the first third of it is going from the land to space. The rest of it, they're actually in space, in orbit already.
So, so when you see the launch, right? Okay, so if you're watching it on like any kind of device and things like that, so when they do the launch, right? I'm not assuming that everything that we see on launch from the actual launch up into whatever you want to call it. I'm not assuming that's not even real. But come on, man. Once they get into orbit and once they get into outer space, it turns to straight CGI. You can't say it ain't. It's straight
Why
CGI.
do you say what evidence do you have that it's CGI other than saying it doesn't look right? Have you analyzed it?
Yeah.
Because there are ways for us as a professional. There are ways for us to find out if a photo or a video have been faked.
Yeah.
That is possible in 2023.
But what I'm saying is, see, can we get to a point where we just forget everything we both were taught and just look at something objectively? You cannot just sit here and tell me when you see the clip, because it always cuts, it's never just straight up feed. When you see the cut to them in orbit in space, you just can't tell me think that's real. You can't.
Do you know why it cuts? Do you know why it cuts? If you want to look at it objectively,
I do.
Then we have to look at why it cuts. Because they're using two different cameras. The first camera is on the outside of the first stage of the rocket.
Okay. And
the reason they put the camera there is to monitor the systems of the rocket.
Okay.
They want to know, do they need to abort? Do they, if the rocket is a Falcon 9 just with some equipment on board, do they need to destroy the rocket before it falls on top of a house? And then that stage disconnects, and then there's a second camera inside the second stage that was covered up by the first stage. So the feed from the first stage cuts. In the case of a Falcon 9 or any SpaceX rocket, that the first camera stays on as the thing's coming back down to Earth to land. And then you have a second camera that stays up with the second stage that turns on after the first stage disconnects. So if you look at it objectively, it makes perfect sense.
So, first of all, thrust in a space vacuum is just in itself. That in itself is just we just skip past that. Look,
Why?
what you mean why? Because you can't have a vacuum or space with another vacuum without a container in between it.
What's
You can't do it. You can't recreate
what
that.
are Newton's laws of motion?
Oh, we're going to Newton laws now, and once again appeal to authority.
Yeah,
Come on,
because they apply, right? We're talking about motion, so the laws of motion apply, right? Laws of motion apply to Tom Brady when he throws a football, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it applies.
They apply to your car, they apply to a bicycle, they apply to a plane, they also apply to a rocket. So what are Newton's laws, and what do they say about a rocket in a vacuum?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you could.
Yeah, so conservation of momentum, first of all. An object in motion will tend to stay in motion until acted upon by another force. And the third law is basically, crap, it just left my mind. McLobster, jump in if you know what I'm about to say. But it's basically for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Okay.
So all the rocket is in space is doing is throwing mass out of the back end. That's the first action. The equal and opposite reaction is the rocket moving in the opposite direction. Right. Technically, if you were able to sit on the back of that spaceship and have an unlimited amount of bowling balls that you were throwing off the back end of that, you would propel the rocket forward. That's all the engine is doing, is throwing mass out of the back end, which propels the rocket in the opposite direction.
Makes sense. I can actually understand that explanation right there. I can understand that. I can understand.
Yeah, and Ty, if you want to see a video on it, if you go on YouTube, they actually have videos of like mini rockets going off in a vacuum chamber, a very tiny vacuum chamber. There's like multiple videos. It's like a very tiny vacuum chamber, and they have like mini rockets, and you can actually see that it does move. So yeah, if you want to see like an actual video experience, like thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not real versed on that fact, so I concede to that because it actually makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense actually. Let's start these questions, man. Okay, so one more thing I got for you. Let's talk about gravity, right?
Sure.
So, is gravity a greater force than the electromagnetic force?
If I'm not wrong, gravity is the weakest force.
Yes.
Okay.
So correct.
Let's stay on that. So
electromagnetism
is force, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it can hold trillions of tons of water on the ball, but allows butterflies to fly. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like what. So if gravity is such a weak force, then why is every other force basically nulls it? So what's the point of gravity then? Put it like that, because it seems to me that gravity is just a word that people have just invented. Because it doesn't make any sense. Because it's 96% dark energy, it's dark matter. It's the word it is.
Well, hypothesized to be that. McGlow, if you want to take that, you can. I don't want to be stepping on your toes here.
No.
No, man, you got it, bro.
So in order to calculate gravity, you have to take into account the masses involved. So you mentioned a butterfly and water. Obviously, a cup of water, like a pint glass of water. If you go to a bar and order a water and they fill up a pint glass of water, that has more mass than a butterfly. So any amount of water above that is going to have more mass. So the masses matter, and the distance they are away from each other also matters. The inverse square law also applies to gravity.
Okay.
So the heavier the mass, the more the quote-unquote force of gravity in Earth's reference frame pulls on that mass. It takes more force to hold down the water, which is provided by that mass being bigger than it does for the butterfly. So all the butterfly has to do is flap its wings, and it can overcome gravity. our bodies are made to propel us forward. So all we have to do is walk.
Right.
And the force of our muscles moving is greater than gravity. Gravity is easy to overcome for short periods, unless like you're a plane. And obviously, a plane needs a lot of fuel in order to fly as fast as it does. But if you don't have energy to provide a secondary force, gravity will take over.
What's more massive, a boulder or a big old spaceship? I'm not a boulder, right? It's a big old boulder, or let's just say a big old cruise ship. What's more massive?
And how big is the boulder?
I mean, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Matter of fact, yeah, a boulder could be a rock this size. It could be a rock this size. It's small, like this size.
Well, then the cruise ship is more massive.
How could a boulder sink to the bottom, but a cruise ship stays on top of the water? Because technically, the cruise ship has more mass.
The cruise ship is
buoyancy.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it is. It's all about buoyancy. Gravity has no effect at all.
But how does buoyancy work?
Do you know the formula?
What is happening when something floats?
Buoyancy and density.
No, it's not density. Density is not a force factor.
What?
Yeah.
Gravity. Listen, you need a force factor for buoyancy to work, and density is not a force factor. Gravity is a force factor. If you look at the formula for buoyancy,
if gravity is a very weak force, why are you even using it in the first place? It's not making any sense.
right, just because.
What happens if when you get a helium balloon? Like let's say you give a helium balloon to a kid and they let it go,
right?
And whether you're inside or outside doesn't matter. What's happening, like specifically, that is making that balloon go up? It's not just because the balloon is lighter. Like, what else is happening that makes the balloon go up?
Those are the only two forces we got. Density and buoyancy. I'm saying.
So what's actually happening is gravity is pulling the heavier air down, and the heavier air is squeezing the balloon up. Think of it. This is like a very rudimentary, and if there was a physicist in here that had a PhD, they'd probably be like, well, not really. So we're just dealing with like elementary school explanations here, because none of us are qualified to give like the PhD explanation.
You don't need to be qualified. That's the point. That's my point. You don't have to be just because people wear lab coats and glasses don't mean to make them smarter. Just because they went to doctoration counts and
well, a PhD doesn't have to wear lab coat and glasses.
But just because they have quote unquote educational authority doesn't make them right.
Well, no, but this is something that we can test ourselves, because if we remove the air, then the balloon falls. We haven't changed the density of the balloon, but the balloon falls without the air.
The balloon contains helium. It's the helium that makes it goes up.
Right. So why is it if you remove the air, the balloon doesn't? What about the air allows the balloon to float up? And why does the balloon also have a ceiling?
The helium is much more dense. And plus, we all know that we get more up in the atmosphere, it gets a lot more dense. I mean, come on, you know this. But that's what I'm saying.
Well, density is just a measure of how much stuff is in one spot. Why do things of different densities still fall at the same rate?
If gravity is based upon mass, like you just said, right, that would mean that more mass, keep in mind, keyword, mass, okay? There are things that have less mass.
Right, but a dense object, it doesn't necessarily make it have more mass. It just has more mass in a tighter space. Like you can have a 6'2" person and a 5'5" person. They both weigh 150 pounds. The 5'5" person is technically more dense. It's more matter in a smaller container, but they both fall at the same rate.
But if gravity is such a weak force, why are you using gravity in the first place to explain anything? If gravity is strong enough to hold trillions of water on a ball, matter of fact, this is an even better question. Do you not agree that water always finds its level? That's very simple. Large bodies of water at rest.
Level in this case is an elevation.
No, large bodies of water at rest find its level. That's scientifically proven.
Well, the ocean is never level in the way it's not flat.
What?
Flat and level are two different
You ever
things.
put water
The
on a
water
ball and
is
spin
never
it? You put water on a ball and spin it, what happens?
flat in the ocean. There's waves, there's
You put water
tides.
on a bottle. If you put water on a ball and
Yeah,
spin it, what
Globy
happens?
McGlobeface did this. Yeah,
Yeah, I have the video, but
And
I
all the
don't-
water stayed on the
I can't
ball?
find it.
Globy McGlobeface did this to scale and got. Yeah, he did it with a lacrosse ball. He
Okay.
wetted the
Yeah.
ball, spun the ball, and measured the amount of water on the ball afterwards, and it was equivalent to the deepest part of the ocean on Earth.
It's a quick. Oh, come on.
Now, that wasn't due to gravity.
Sure.
That was due to water's stickiness. Like, that's why if you jump in the ocean or the pool or the shower, water sticks to you.
You do know that we're spinning in 3 different directions, right?
Water very slowly.
No, that's not very slow. What you mean? 1,000 miles equator, 6,000 miles.
It's really
Facing
slow.
the sun, 4,000
Yeah, but you have
miles.
to take account that it's only 15 degrees an hour.
But if you,
Right.
did you have your ball? Did you also have your ball going the direction of
The
way?
ball was
and
actually
following
going faster. The ball
Yeah,
was
it was
actually
going
rotating
faster
a
than
lot
you.
faster.
But I'm
A
saying
lot
the ball was going
faster.
faster, but it was going in one direction, right? It was just spinning, right? That's all it was doing.
So yeah. So Ty, how many revolutions in one day does the Earth make?
One.
Mm-hmm.
12 hours.
How many revolutions in it? Yeah. How many revolutions in one day does the hour hand on your clock make?
Is it a 24-hour clock or is it a regular clock? 12-hour clock.
It
So 12-hour clock.
yeah,
is twice.
12-hour clock.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a 12-hour clock hour hand spins literally twice as fast as the Earth. The difference is the scale. If you made that radius, the arm on your clock,
Right.
if you made it 3959 miles,
Right.
3,959 miles long, and just it kept time the same way, it's spinning still at the same speed, and it's spinning twice as fast as Earth. The difference is the end of that hour hand, when it's 3,959 miles, is covering more distance than it does right now because it's longer. That's when they say the Earth spins at 1,040 miles per hour at the equator.
Okay.
That's how much distance is covered from point A to point B
Yeah.
in 1 hour.
Yeah.
It's not 1,000 miles per hour.
But that's only one
It's
motion.
15 degrees per hour.
There's only one motion
But-
describing
but
it.
so-
There are 2 other motions going on too.
So if you take a quarter, or let's put it this way.
Okay.
So the Harlem Globetrotters spin the basketball on their finger.
Right.
How fast is that basketball moving? Is it covering distance, or is it stationary and just rotating?
It's stationary.
Yeah, it's stationary and just rotating. So you would describe that motion in RPMs, rotations per
Yes,
minute.
I agree. But that's just
And
one movement.
Earth, right? So Earth's rotation is 0.000694 RPM.
Okay.
That's how slow it rotates. To make one revolution around the sun is even slower because it takes a full year to do it.
66,600 miles an hour. Go ahead. That's 2. You still got one motion. You got
Right, but again, you don't describe rotational speed in miles per hour.
That's what
So
it's telling us. So why are we using miles per hour?
Right,
Talk about the
because
movements
so if I tell my daughter, either one of them, I have a 1st grader and a 6th grader
Right.
starting this year. Okay, if I go up to them and say, "Hey, let's talk about Earth's rotation. The Earth rotates at 0.000694 RPM." Do you think they're going to have any conceptualization of how fast or slow that is? Is that going to mean anything to anybody outside of people actually having this discussion? Or is it better to give something that we relate to?
No, I mean, no, I wholeheartedly understand.
Because even even a kindergartner has in the U.S. has heard of miles per hour. In where McGlobster lives, they use kilometers per hour.
What the fuck is a kilometer? Sorry.
Oh. But you know what I mean? Like, it's easier to understand things if we use terms that we all understand.
I agree.
So that's why, is it appropriate to describe the speed in that way? Technically, no. Is it easier for the average Joe to get an idea of how large the Earth is? Because the reason you can say the Earth rotates at 1,000 miles per hour at the equator is because the circumference of Earth is 24,000 miles. And there's 24 hours in a day. That means over the course of an hour, it has to move that much. So it's just really basic, simple math. But you're not going to hear scientists and astrophysicists and all of that saying, oh, yeah, well, the Earth spins at 1,000 miles per hour and it's moving around the sun at 66.6 thousand miles. You know what I mean? They're going to speak in more precise terms.
Exactly.
Right.
But they don't teach us to grasp these concepts. They don't teach us vortex math and sacred geometry in school or perspective. They don't. So we can't. We don't have.
Well,
the,
when
so
you're in
we don't have,
elementary school.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Not just saying like they like.
No.
What I was trying to tell earlier, like it's they're not teaching us what we need to know. They're teaching us what they want us to know. This is what I was trying to tell you.
But do we need? So if you're, let's say you're in Anywhere USA, and you're in 8th grade, do you need to know the specifics of the master's degree physics behind Earth's rotation, or do you just need to know generally how things work until you decide what your career path is going to be? Like, obviously, if you're going to become an astrophysicist or you're going to become an engineer, the amount of physics that you're going to take later on in life is going to get exponentially more detailed. But when you're in 8th grade or even in high school taking an AP physics class, while you'll know more in your AP physics class, it's not going to be anywhere near the masters. You know what I mean?
But that's appealing to authority.
It's not appealing to authority when you can go out. So, Ty, have you ever talked to Blitz, PhD, on TikTok?
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. This is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not disputing that the math, everything turns out cool.
Right.
I'm not even disputing that. This is what I'm trying to tell you. The truth is simple. It's not hard. It doesn't need all these mathematical explanations.
Well,
we
yes
are
and
not
no.
moving, and there's no curves.
Josh.
That's it. We see
Josh.
too far. If you use the Earth curve calculator,
him.
if you use the Earth curve calculator, and you take a P900 and you test it out, you will see that we see too far. We can see miles.
We don't see too far.
Background of other things.
We never see too far.
What do you mean? We
And
can't see?
just so you know, just so you're aware, the P900 does one thing and the P1000 does one thing better than other consumer cameras, and that's zooming in more for cheap. But just so you know, the reason it zooms in more than other consumer cameras is because it's not a full frame camera. What it does poorly is everything else. There's a reason why you never see a P900 on the side of any NFL game. The photographers that shoot the Super Bowl, and doesn't really matter, but I'm speaking from experience because I'm a photographer that has shot 2 Super Bowls. You'll never see a P900 there because it's a crappy camera. But what you're, which has zero bearing on what you're saying. I just want you to know, like, it's a horrible camera.
So at what point will you start to see a curve?
It depends on the observer height
and, when you put
what you're looking at.
Okay.
1 second. You can see the effects of curvature from anywhere, and you can see curvature from about how high planes fly, basically.
Yeah, JT has
Blah, blah,
a
blah.
photo of it from. It was either 38 or 39,000 feet. It depends on conditions
Hey
as
man,
well.
illuminated one. Hold on, let me just address this guy real quick, man. Illuminated one. You one of those low earthers I be talking about, man. Look, bro, grifting? No, I'm not grifting. I don't even care if you can go get the app. It doesn't matter. But see, this is what McGloster. When I'm talking about McGloster, people like this, bro. People like this that can't even have a civil conversation. Like you, Doctor Man, respect to you and McGloster, man, and respect to everybody. I respect all y'all. You know what I'm saying? But it's just stuff like this that really irks me. Like, if it's so dumb, get out of my chat and go watch somebody else. You feel
Yeah,
me?
no.
That's just trash,
Illuminated
man.
one. There's definitely a gigantic difference between Thai and Waterworld.
Man, this is crazy.
I think we all agree with that.
Yeah, generally. Like,
I mean, Ty's great to have a conversation with because he's actually listening, and we may not
Right.
agree, but he's listening.
right. I enjoy this
Waterworld's
conversation.
hilarious
Because
just because he's Waterworld, but whatever.
No,
He says
I
that
think
Sigma
I
Untantus
think
doesn't
Waterworld's on my
exist.
side.
The
I'm talking about
star.
illuminated one. Waterworld's
No,
on my
yeah,
side.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I was
Waterworld's on your
speaking to
side.
Illuminated one on that Ty. I was
Yeah.
sticking
Yeah.
up for you
But
basically.
you know what I'm
Hey,
saying? It's like,
Todd.
man,
What's
it's crazy,
hey?
What's
man.
up,
What's up,
Mike?
Mike?
Hey,
What's
what's
up,
going
Josh?
on?
What's
Hey,
up,
I just wanted to
McDoster?
hop. I wanted to hop in
What's
and
up,
just
Ty?
say hi, and I like your platform.
Appreciate it.
El Sweden.
And
El
wanted
Ben.
to,
Ty's definitely one of the better ones, man.
yeah, and
Yeah,
I wanted to
I
say,
actually debated with this guy for a long time,
yeah,
and I would just stick around.
and I thought about something that I don't
Yeah,
have
I've been with this
long.
guy for a while.
But
I
don't,
don't
hey
have
man,
long. I
I'm
got to
gonna
get
get
to
more
the
practice,
store,
man.
but
Like, when I get to
I
the
just
level
wanted to
of
say that
hearing
I
this,
wanted to
man.
add on to something that yeah, I wanted to add in something that
Yeah,
that I think that Globster said about curvature.
right.
You're not going to see curvature necessarily, but you're going to see effects of curvature.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one important thing to remember.
You mean from a plane?
No, from anywhere.
Oh,
But
alright.
if we go by, let's just say, if you go by the radius it tells us the Earth is, right? At some point, right? It's like they keep moving the goalpost. You know, they keep moving it up. It's just, I don't get
Right.
it. So have you ever seen the sun from airplane view in the airplane?
Yeah.
Like, do
Yeah.
you really
Yes.
does it look 93 million miles away? Just does it really look 93 million miles away?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, I agree. But yeah, my only point was it's like you were asking, yeah, if wherever I am, where can I find curvature? And it's like you may not necessarily find curvature, but you're going to see effects of curvature no matter where you're at.
Which I
Exactly.
agree with that.
That's the thing.
So
Yeah, that's the thing to remember as just sort of somebody that's asking questions. Just think
right.
about that part. You're
Okay,
going to see effects of it.
actually agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I agree. So what? So being that it's supposed to be a spear, at what
Right.
point we actually how we got to get to see the curve? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Right.
How?
So one effect you'll see is like if you're in the northern hemisphere, you'll see the moon in one orientation, and you'll see stars rotate counter. Well, the trails will be left counterclockwise.
Right.
On the other
It's
side,
like
the southern hemisphere, just for example, you'll see the moon in another orientation. Trails will be
yeah,
counterclockwise.
Arctic. Right.
So you're going to see effects of curvature. You may not actually ever see the curvature, especially if you're like a homebody, which
Not
I kind of am. Yeah.
regular people. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So okay. So
Ty,
yeah.
I have something for you though, Ty, on distance, right? First, I wanted to check something with Josh. Josh, what is the how far do we see with the P900? Like, what is the zoom on that? Like in time, like it sees
Yeah,
this
no, I
many
can't
times
give
more
it
than
to
you
you
do.
in that. It's like a
I'm
3,000
gonna look it up. Let's
millimeter
see.
or something like that. Let's put it this way. In
Like
a way that
like if you were this is how I want the answer to that. Like if you were to put my eyes at the end of where it's completely zoomed, how far would I be from my original self?
I don't know that I can give it to you that way, but I can give it to you another way that you, Ty, Mike, and myself will understand.
Gotcha.
Possibly McLobster. So if you're standing at the end of an American football end zone, and and you're using the lens that most photographers use for that, which is a 400 millimeter.
83
And
times.
the players, the tallest player on the team is the 30-yard line. You're going to see the entirety from head to toe of that person. That's a 400 millimeter. The P900, I'm 99.9% sure that's a 3,000 millimeter.
It's 2,000 millimeters, 83 times zone.
Okay.
No, it's more than 3 times.
No, I said 83.
It's
I
like
said
over
83
100
times zone.
times.
83.
83
80,
times. There you go.
83 times. So basically,
yeah.
she's 83 times further than I would see, right?
Yep.
Assuming, not really, but this is the
Well,
question
it
I
would
got.
be 83 times the size of whatever measurement they're starting at. So, like your eye without peripheral vision, your eye sees at a 50 millimeter lens. So if
Got
you go from 50 to 2,000, that's what I'm assuming they're using for the measurement. A 50 to
Gotcha.
2,000 millimeters is 83 times bigger in the frame.
That's perfect right there, from 50 to 2,000. So, Ty, this is my question, because you said we see too far,
Way too
right? All right, so we see too far. So I'm standing at the beach, and I'm looking at the sunset. You have a 83x camera, and I'm looking with my eyes, just my eyes. I don't have a camera. When that sunset goes down, why does it go down at the exact same time for both of us?
You when I'm zoomed in?
You're zoomed in all the way.
And you're not zoomed in.
And I'm with my bare eyes. We're gonna see the sunset at the exact same time, regardless.
No, we
Why
won't.
is that?
No, we won't.
So you're telling me somebody with a zoom at the beach gets to see the sunset for longer?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. If I'm zoomed in, then it would take the.
So you're telling me. All right. So you're telling me, me and you are standing at the beach.
Right.
I see the sunset. It's done. You get to pull out your camera and see the sunset again from the same spot by zooming in.
Yeah, let me explain it to you. So we in the same spot, right? Okay. When you with your bare eyes see the sun go over the horizon, right? I can zoom in and bring the whole sun back to me. That proves it right there.
No. The thing is that you can't. You will lose the sun at the exact same time. Me, you, and everybody else with a camera.
No.
We would see the sunset all together, and we would walk away from the sunset.
No, we wouldn't.
And you can see this with.
Doesn't make any sense. What are you talking? No,
all right.
Bro.
Say me and you are. Hold on, Ty. Say me and you are recording with our phones. Then your phone goes 100 times X, and I'm recording at no zoom.
Okay.
Are you telling me that when I'm done recording the sunset, you still got like 10 minutes of sunset left on your side because you're zoomed in?
It'll be 10 minutes depending on how far I'm zoomed in.
Well, you zoomed in 83 times further. You'll definitely have a lot of time.
It'll take me a long time for that sun to cross over my horizon.
But the reality is, the truth is that it would disappear at the same time to both of us.
With our bare eyes, but when I zoom in, I'll be able to see more
No,
than you.
No. You with the zoomed in and me with my bare eyes, the sun will disappear at the exact same time. I promise you that.
No, I don't think you know what I'm trying to say.
Okay, just speaking won't say
let's
anything,
just say
so
a
we're
boat-
gonna have to do an actual experiment.
Let's just put it like this. Let's say we see a boat then with our bare eyes, right? We both stand in the same spot. And you see a boat over the horizon with your naked eye, right? You see it. You don't see it anymore. It's gone. And I take in the same spot we standing right now, and I zoom in every time to see the boat. That means that debunks it. That's it. Game over. What are you talking about?
No, because you're giving the same example as a car. If a car's going far away and it's too far for me to see it, and you zoom in, yes, you'll see the car because it's still on the same road. I just can't see because it's too far. I'm talking about the curvature. If you can zoom it back in after it's halfway over the curvature, that half of the boat is missing, you're not gonna get the full thing back because you zoomed in. And I promise you will not find a video that does it.
And then it makes so bad. This is what I'm trying to say. When you're talking about a spear, a globe has to have physical.
But
This is what I'm saying. A physical horizon.
But 1 second. Do you really think that you get longer time with the sunset with the camera? Was that like a real answer?
It's about me zooming in. I can see the whole sun, and you can't with your eyes because
No,
you don't see that far.
Okay, one second.
You're not
Josh,
making
Can
any
I
sense.
Josh,
interrupt?
you
You're
Can
not
I
understand what
making
I'm
any
interrupt?
sense. You're
saying?
not making any
One second, one
sense.
second. I
Hold on, I just
understand
want
what
to
you're
make sure.
saying, but one
Okay.
second. So we're not gonna get anywhere by just saying nah, nah.
No,
So we're gonna
I'm
have to do
telling
an
you that.
actual experiment. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I understand that you
But he
have your
debunked
own
himself
beliefs.
though. He debunked himself.
No, he
No, no,
didn't.
no.
But
I'm a
okay,
hundred. I'm a
Just
hundred
listen to me
percent.
talk. Just listen to me talk.
Okay, go ahead.
We're gonna have to do an actual experiment for this specific topic. But Ty, I have another question for
Go
you.
ahead.
You're saying with our own eyes, right?
Right.
Ours, we cannot see the sun anymore, right?
Yeah, we're
Like
saying
if
yeah.
it's setting,
Okay.
right? We shouldn't be able to see the sun, even if we're standing in the same like,
You're saying the same exact spot.
you
You're
know.
right.
You're right. So if I'm standing in Dubai, right, and the sun is setting, I'm on ground zero, and I'm watching the sun set, and it's setted, right? For me, it has set on the ground. But then there's someone at the Burj Khalifa top floor. He should be able to see the sunset, correct?
Yeah.
Because right. So you cannot explain that on a flat Earth.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's where I was gonna get to with the Ty. That's where I was gonna get to with the. You're zoomed in. It disappeared with no zoom. I can go up on a drone and see it again, but I'm still at the same distance. So how?
Right. You're at the same
Just
distance,
because the Earth is flat.
but just because
You
you're
prove what I'm
higher
saying.
No,
doesn't
no,
You don't
no.
mean
understand
You
y'all
don't see.
argument.
no,
You
no,
don't.
no.
You don't see. You don't see further because it's flat. That makes no sense.
You understand?
You're
You
at a longer
understand the
distance.
argument. The argument
Right.
is if you are on a globe, there should be a physical hump and or curve. You're on a
Correct,
globe.
and
Listen,
that's what.
listen,
And
listen,
that's
listen,
that.
listen,
That's the
listen,
point. That's what's making it disappear.
listen. Just listen what I'm saying. If you are on a globe, here's a globe.
Mm-hmm.
Example, you're on this globe, right? And this boat goes over here, and you don't see it anymore. If you're on a globe, I don't care how much you zoom in, you should be able to see that because there's a physical hump in front of you.
Correct.
If you are on a
Correct.
flat surface, I just zoom in and see it. That means the surface is flat. Point blank. Period. It's easy.
No, that means that it hasn't
But
gone
how
over the
long?
curvature yet.
How long can you zoom in before it disappears again?
But I literally just okay. Look, give me an example, right?
So this is what I'm trying to tell you. If you and I'll do this experiment because I have a perfect place for this here. If you have a mountain far away and you have a boat and you zoom in that 83 times, either ways that boat's gonna disappear, but you'll still see the mountain. So I'm still seeing further, but for some reason that boat is no longer there. Would that prove curve?
You shouldn't be able to see past the boat. If you see anything past the boat, that means it's flat. You answering your
No,
own
you can see
question.
things if they're high enough. Of course, you can see them.
No, what I'm saying is, if you can zoom in, let's say I zoom in, I see the boat, right? But I see the mountains that are miles in front of the boat.
But
If there was a
that boat would
physical
eventually
curvature, I
disappear,
shouldn't be able to see it at all.
and then you'll get
It's
no.
not,
The
it's
boat
not
would
hard.
disappear.
It's elementary, bro.
Alright, I still have to ask
You
my
can't
question.
zoom in on something that's physical.
So
If it goes over the hump, there's no way in hell I should be able to zoom in and see my
No,
finger
no,
because it's over a hump.
Ty, I guarantee you, there's not one video
Oh my
that
God.
zooms the boat in after it's going over the curve.
It's on my it's my feed. I got like 3 videos on my
No,
feed.
no,
It
no, no.
shows it. What are you talking about?
It got smaller. It got smaller altogether. It did not disappear from the bottom up, and then you zoomed it back in. It got smaller
You didn't look at the
altogether
video.
because of
You
distance.
didn't look at the video. The video clearly
I
showed
did.
a boat disappear
There
from the
is
bottom up, and they zoomed in and seen it. That is like
okay, right now it's going back and
that's
forth.
the most elementary part of the whole globe thing. It's the whole Earth by
Right.
itself. That in itself.
Okay,
No, it doesn't.
Time out. Cause
I'll
Simon,
look at the video.
look, Simon. Guess what, Simon? You think I'm a grifter, bro? Let me show you something, man. I'm gonna take it off. Cause y'all be doing too much. Y'all doing the most. You worry about a damn QR code. You not listen to the facts at all. Go ahead, y'all go ahead. Man, y'all go Earth is a trip, boy. Go ahead, man. Finish what y'all saying.
All that's happening in those videos is the angular size
Exactly.
of the
Yes. There we
boat
go. Angular size.
That's what I'm saying.
is
It's never it's never behind the curve when it gets zoomed back in.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you get zoomed back in, that means it's flat.
No. It gets zoomed back in because of the angular size, not because it's over a curve.
So
I want to see a video where when it's after the curve, then it gets zoomed back in. Find a video like that.
So you trying to find a video where the boat disappears from bottom up, right?
It's like halfway missing, like the boat is halfway missing from
Right.
bottom to top,
Okay.
and then it gets zoomed back in. Not that the
Right.
boat is smaller,
That's what I asked for.
But
because the video you
video's on my
have,
page.
the video you have does not have it halfway off.
check my
Yeah.
phone.
So
Hold on.
Ty, what he's saying is like, let's say you have a sailboat.
Right.
All you see when the camera zooms in of the sailboat is the mast of the ship.
Okay.
So just that pole holding up the big sail. What we want to see is you zoom in even more and see the bottom of the ship. Not that you stand on the beach and you take a P900 and go from a wide angle lens showing the beach and the waves, and you look out and while you see the beach and the waves, you don't see a boat, because that's just an angular size issue. A
The
wide
angular
angle lens
resolution.
can't well, yeah, it can't resolve the boat that far away. But
Yeah.
the boat's only like a mile and a half from you at
Yeah.
that point.
So
No,
what I'm
no,
so
no, no. The boat is
so Ty,
way
hold on.
further than that.
Ty, real quick. So this is what I'm saying. Use a camera, or I want to see a video where the camera is physically seeing the boat disappear from the bottom up,
Okay.
and after it sees it, then I wanted to zoom it back in.
Okay. Okay. I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. I'm misunderstanding. I see what you're saying. You saying that you want to see it disappear, then zoom back. Okay. I got you. I got you. I got
No,
you.
no,
I'm
not disappear all the way. I want it, but I want the bottom from the bottom up to start disappearing, and then zoom it back in. Not just that you're far away and then you zoom in and see it. That
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
How does it not? But if you see a boat go over the horizon, bottom up, and you zoom in, that's that. What you mean doesn't matter? That's the proof right there. What are you
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see it like a cruise ship. I want to see it like when the half of it's already missing,
Right.
and then you hit the zoom, and then bring that bottom part back.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I get exactly what you're saying now. I get exactly what you're saying now. Okay, I
Alright,
see.
so now
And
that we
I
got
can
that out of the
guarantee that
way.
that video does not exist.
Oh, it's gonna
Alright,
exist because it'll be the very next video I put on my TikTok, and I'm gonna tag all y'all. Go
alright.
represent it.
Oh yes, definitely.
I'm
Yeah,
tagging
yeah.
all y'all on this one.
Let me tell
So
you something.
now that we got.
I will convert immediately.
You would? You serious? You would?
Yes,
Oh yeah.
yes,
What?
and you can have this on recording right now.
Oh
I will
yes.
convert immediately.
All right, then. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, anyway, now that we're past that, I want to go back to what I was saying.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Why
ahead.
is it that when we go higher, we get to see further on a flat Earth? Because that only makes sense on a globe Earth, since we can see past the curvature
What
or
the
the
hell?
horizon.
What? Hold on. Say it again.
Okay, from what I told you, seeing the sunset from the ground go away, and then you go up to Burj Khalifa, the tallest building on Earth, you get to watch the sunset again. The reason that works on a globe is because we can see past the
And
curvature,
guess what
past
though?
the horizon.
Guess what? If you was on a globe, the horizon will always come back to your eye level. But it does. No matter how high
No,
you get,
but then what's stopping?
the horizon always at your eye level. No matter how high you go, that tells you it's flat. It's pretty
No,
simple
but
math.
if
You
you're
think
the
about it.
same distance, right? You're the same distance
Same
from
distance.
when you were at the ground and when you're up high in the Burj Khalifa. You're the same distance, right?
Right.
So the sun is not supposed to reach us anymore because it's like further away.
Right.
And
Okay.
you could even change that up. The Wiz Khalifa is 1,000 feet behind you,
Uh-huh.
and you'll see the sunset, and the guy on top of the Wiz Khalifa can see it still again, and he's 1,000 feet behind you. So how is that?
How is it that he still sees it and I don't?
Yeah.
Because because I'm the ground level. What you mean? You go how quick you want to see? What I'm telling you is, if it's a
Yes, you
physical,
see.
if it's a spear, if it's a ball, no matter how high that you go, if the horizon comes up to your eye level,
Okay.
you are on a flat
All right.
plane.
Let's do this. You're by a basket. You're in front of a beach ball.
Right.
Your eyes are on the beach ball.
Right.
You could only see a little bit. You can't even tell that it's a beach ball. But when you stand up, you can see over the beach ball
Right.
on what's on the other side. You see over that curve.
But do you see over the other side of it? No, because it's a globe, right?
Yeah, if you're standing over it, you see over you'll see a certain distance more because you're over it now. You're over that curve
Yes.
in height.
You
If you're on a hill on the other side,
right.
and then I go up with a drone, I'll be able to see you with the drone.
Right.
I can't zoom you back in because my zoom won't go past that physical, like if we're on a street or whatever on grass, I can't zoom in past the grass. But if I take a drone and go up, I'll be able to see you even though you're over the curve.
You better see me, yes, but guess what? With the horizon, will the horizon still be at your eye level, or will it drop down? Because
All
you're on a
right, but
spear,
now,
the
so let's
horizon will
use
drop down,
let's use that same example. We're in a flat plane now.
right?
So it's flat. I can see you.
Mm-hmm.
If I go higher, I can still see you. Whatever changes? The height doesn't change anything. It only changes something on a curved place.
That's not true. You could put a quarter on a flat table and do the same thing. It shows like what you were saying is so basic and elementary that
No,
I don't see why
no,
you're
no.
arguing the fact.
I'll still be able to see the quarter.
You still be able to see the quarter, right? Of course you would. You be able to see what's behind the quarter too, right? Because it's flat. But if you're on a globe, you shouldn't be able to see behind the quarter. If it was on a globe, if it's on a ball, you just see nothing but space. Because a physical sphere requires a physical horizon. It's just point blank simple. If the horizon comes to your eye
What's
level,
physical like a basketball. Like take out a basketball right now and point to me where the curve is. You won't be able to.
I'm point. Look, I got a microphone.
You're gonna point to a flat part of the basketball.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, let's say this is the boat, right?
No, but did you understand what I just said? But did you understand me at least?
It's a spear. Okay, you see what I'm saying? It's a spear. It's going over here, right? Boom. Now, I should not be able to, in any case whatsoever, be able to zoom in and see my finger if it was on a ball.
I can't see you. McGhoster's face is on you. I can't see you. I don't know what you're doing.
See it now? It's a boat.
Yes, so I see. What are you pointing at right now? Is that a curve?
Yeah, it's a microphone.
Point at the curve. Point at the curve on that. I know. Point on the curve on that. Show me where the curve is on it, though.
You see the curve when I go over it. That's the curve. This is the curve. Okay.
No. I see the effects of the curve. I don't see the curve. See, I see your finger disappearing from the bottom up, which is the effects of the curve. But I don't see the curve.
This is embarrassing.
Because you're 2D. You're 2D right now.
This is embarrassing.
But you just proved exactly what I was talking about.
This is crazy.
Let's move on from this subject because we're not going to get anywhere without any proof.
Yeah, we can move on.
I mean, any experiments.
What?
I'll show you exactly though. Do that again with the microphone. Put your finger on the microphone.
Yeah,
Come on.
Okay, let's go.
All right, and now go back towards you. The bottom of your finger will disappear first because that's the effects of curvature.
Right. Okay. Boom.
That happens with both. That happens with the sun. You just proved.
And guess what? You shouldn't be able to zoom in. No matter what you do, you shouldn't be able to zoom in and see my finger whatsoever because it's on a spear, right?
All right, now let's do this. Put the mic down. Put your hand flat. And do that with your finger again. And tell me when from the bottom to the top disappear.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, look.
And now go straight back. Don't curve over nothing. And let me know when your finger starts disappearing from the bottom up.
Bam, right here, right in my head. It's kind of
right when you go behind it. But go straight.
See, that's what I'm saying. You see, what I'm saying is, it's so elementary that it's kind of sad y'all don't see it. You see, if you have a physical sphere, there is no way in hell you should be able to zoom in on anything past the curve. It's simple. It's not even like.
All right.
It's not. It's. What?
I agree with McGhoster. We can move on to the next one. What's next?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, but that's just because we're going back and forth and we don't have any videos or evidence.
It's not I won. It's not I won or you won. It's just.
No, I won.
Let's move on to the next one. We kind of beat.
You didn't win. All right.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, let him win. Who cares?
You know, sure. If you think that you won, go ahead. Sure.
Let me ask you a question though. Did you hear about we're talking about the stars in space? Did you hear about the conversation? What's your opinion on that?
I don't think it was here. Can we move on from that topic too? We've gone back to it a few times.
Maybe truth or still. Okay, what's the next topic?
Right, but Josh already. Anyway.
What's the next topic?
I'm
killing y'all right now. What's the next topic?
Let's talk about the star trails.
You're destroying us. You get to see the sun longer with a zoom on the beach.
Let's talk about star trails. Why is it in the northern hemisphere does it go clockwise, and then on the southern hemisphere it goes counter clockwise?
You mean Arctic and Antarctic? Why is it that?
On a flat Earth. No, listen. On the northern hemisphere, the star trails appear to go clockwise. But on the southern hemisphere, it appears to go counterclockwise. The star trails.
Assuming it's a hemisphere. We don't think it's a hemisphere. We think it's flat.
Okay. How about this? From what's my called? from Sweden, right?
Right.
The star trails appear to go clockwise,
Right.
but from example South Africa, the star trails go counterclockwise.
And arcing, right.
How is that possible? Oh, and also in the equator, like Egypt,
Right.
it goes straight. How is that possible on a flat Earth?
What do you mean how it's possible? I mean, simple. I gave you the example with the lights on the wall and it being going to a room. You're gonna see the same
No,
thing,
that's
but
just you seeing
it's gonna look
different.
different. Of course, it's gonna look different because you're on
Yeah.
different parts of
So
the
let, so
earth.
let's so let's try this one. I wish Sai was here; he would have asked it. Let's try this one. Why in the south and the north you see the moon upside down?
We discussed that because
You see it upright from one side, and the other side it appears upside down. Why is that?
because you're on two opposite ends of the plane.
So you're telling me that if I'm in a football field, I'm on one end zone and you're on the other end zone, you see a ball in the middle upside down, and I see it right side up.
We don't think it's a ball. See, y'all keep assuming that we don't think it's a spear. Y'all putting the wrong information there. We don't think that. What I'm trying to tell you is you draw
No.
six. Look, if you go to a room, a flat room, you draw 6 at the ceiling. In a 20-mile room, you draw 6 at the top of the ceiling. You go east, I go west. You don't see a 6, I'll see a 9. It's still the same thing.
All right.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, I got a simple one for you. I got a simple one for you here.
Go ahead.
Give me coordinates to anywhere in the United States using that flat map you was promoting.
You said give you coordinates. What you mean by coordinates?
Yeah, coordinates like a GPS uses coordinates to give me an address. Longitude and latitude.
Well, for
Give me any. Give me any. And matter of fact, in the northern hemisphere, give me any, because on your map, 90 degrees, 90 degrees north must stay 90 degrees north at all times. So coordinates will not work. So you tell me how they would work. Give me any in the northern hemisphere.
Okay, so I tell you how. First, I'm gonna start with this: that when you're talking about coordinates GPS, we don't believe in GPS. Undersea cables is our communication. You know that GPS don't even work in the southern hemisphere. You know that, right?
Sorry to interrupt, but can you check the guest box?
Oh yeah, I'm finna check.
But Ty, give me coordinates to anywhere. You can look it up. You could go online and look it up and find some.
I mean, but what do you mean by coordinates? Where's that proved?
Coordinates, latitude and longitude to a place. Say me and you were in the military.
Right.
I was in danger. I needed you to come help me. I'll give you my coordinates so you could find my exact location.
Okay.
Now that would work, and people would be able to help me on a globe. But on flat Earth now, I'm trying to learn how this would work, because 90 degrees north is only one spot, so nothing could be 120 degrees north. Nothing could be anything else, but 90 degrees north. So how would coordinates work? That's what I want to know.
I actually can't answer that question. I can't answer that question. I'm nervous. I can't answer that question. Hey, look.
Yeah,
Like
nobody
this
would.
is what I'm saying. This is my point I'm trying to make. Flat Earthers know we don't know
So
everything.
what? Yeah, but what I'm saying,
That's the difference.
Ty. But what I'm saying with that is remove that the GPS is satellites. It's not satellite. It's ground based, like you guys say.
Undersea
It
cables.
still needs to work on the coordinate system. So, but how does the coordinate system work if 90 degrees is north and that's it? It can't be anything else.
Because you're assuming a spear.
The number never changes, so that means the GPS is just sending you to 90 degrees north all the time. No. I'm assuming the flat. I'm assuming flat. I'm telling you flat. We're flat, like you say.
Okay.
We're using ground level GPS. We're on the ground. It's on the ground.
Yo.
How can it give me coordinates if 90 degrees north is there and that's it? There's no other north according to you guys. North is the center at 90 degrees.
It's kind of hard
How
to
can
explain
it get me anywhere?
It's kind of hard to explain about video interpretation. I'm trying to say it the best I can. Because what you're saying doesn't really make any sense. Because y'all keep trying to put in globe characteristics to our model. We don't think it's a hemisphere. We don't think the sun is not the
No. But Ty, I am telling you can use whatever you want. It's a GPS. It stands for ground positioning system. It's all wired. It's a flat plane. I just want to know, how can I get help if I was in the military and I called somebody and I need them to give them my coordinates and I'm in New York? How can I get coordinates if I have to give them 90 degrees north all the time? Because that cannot change
Look,
on your map.
I just,
And you had your map out.
look. I can't. I'm gonna be real. I can't explain exactly articulate the exact science of that. I can't do that.
But
But at the same
this,
time, that doesn't
this
prove
is
that
the
the Earth is
thing.
flat
No
or oval.
one in the world can.
I don't have all the answers.
Right.
But see, y'all think I got all the answers.
Yeah, but
I question
nobody in
things
the world
y'all
has
don't.
that answer.
Alright, if you can't
Yeah,
answer it, let's move on.
nobody in the world has that answer.
Alright, let's move on then.
But you're
Yeah, we can
ignoring
move
the
on.
simple fact.
I'm
You can't
destroying
even
this
get
guy.
it. You can't get. You think land on the moon? You think land on the moon?
Destroying this guy.
Let's go to this. You think land on the moon? Let's go there. You think the moon
It's,
is this? Of course. Here we go.
Alright, guys, I'm gonna drop down. It's 2 a.m. for me. I'm gonna probably.
I gotta get out. Look, but on real talk, I'm finna literally tag y'all in this next video. So give me about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I gotta put it right here. I'm gonna load it up. I'm gonna tag you, and then let me know what you think about it.
Tag me in the video.
Oh, I will.
McLobster's running.
Also-
You've
also-
thoroughly destroyed him.
Also, find
I'm scared.
find the coordinates to anywhere because we might need them.
Y'all didn't destroy me, but okay.
Alright.
But look, hey, I appreciate this conversation though, man. I like talking to y'all. Except for Illuminati dude, I don't like him. But everybody else, we good.
No, it was a good call.
I'm just messing with y'all, man. But
Hey,
I love discussion though.
Josh, have a good day.
Alright,
McGill, have a
man.
good day.
Yeah, you too,
Ty, have a
man.
good one, man. Nice talking to you.
Alright, Ty, thank you for hosting. Josh, thank you for being
Take
here
care,
with
guys.
me.
I can't tell.
I wish everyone a good night and a